youngin' bounce out on my mama knee. She said there's only one thing to set your soul free. Wasn't no easy street where I come from. There wasn't no sleep until the work was done. That victory bell, one for the money, to another show. Please start your engines now and rock and roll.
It's NASCAR Xfinity Series racing from Daytona, the Wawa 250, powered by Coca-Cola. 4 races still remain in the Xfinity Series regular season, and so every point, every position still matters for these drivers. And the ones in yellow currently with a win, they are hoping they are locked in to the playoffs. Then others fighting for every position, every point on the racetrack to help their possibility of getting into the playoffs. You see the cars and the drivers are in the garage about ready to roll out onto the racetrack alongside our crew chief, Steve Letarte. Rick Allen with you. All right, Steve, the cars were supposed to be on track for qualifying at 3 o'clock. That's almost 7.5 hours that these teams, drivers have been thinking about this race, waiting for them to be able to be on the racetrack. How do you cope with that time?
Well, this is when the crew chief's leadership is going to be tested, right? The preparation happened all week long. Whether you got the lap or qualifying or not, that's not going to change your game plan for the race. But now, as everyone has kind of sat around, the rains came through, now it's your leadership, right? Have you circled the pit crew up? Have they double-checked their equipment on pit road that's been sitting in the rain? I know the cars have been in the garage, but is there anything that we're out of our rhythm? It just looks weird having the drivers put it in the garage, so don't let that get you out of your rhythm. Regardless of what has led up to this moment, this is still a race in the regular season. It gives an opportunity for a driver, and for some drivers, their best opportunity to make it to the playoffs.
And we bring in our drivers, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Jeff Burton. Okay, guys, it's still Daytona, and there is still a prestige of running, racing, and potentially winning here at this racetrack.
Yeah, I mean, every time you come to Daytona, you want to win a race, no matter what that race is. It could be an Xfinity race or a duel. Of course, the big cup races or races you want to win, doesn't really matter. Everybody wants to go to that victory lane. At some point in their life, they want to pull into that victory lane and get a trophy. And all those guys are gearing up to do it tonight. But with this delay, I think it affects some drivers. I don't know if that's really true, but I always felt like I'm in my prime when it's around midnight, man. If we could push this race late, that it was an advantage for me because I felt like I could race all night long. Some of these guys, though, I'm not so sure they can get up on the wheel like they're going to need to this late in the day.
Well, I think, too, I think the fact that you're at Daytona, the fact that you want to win here so badly, and what you're going to have to do to win at this racetrack, you're going to have to put yourself in positions you're not comfortable with. You know there's always the threat of that big wreck, and you've been sitting here waiting for hours to get this race going. This was a race I was always nervous for, and now you just added hours to my day to get into this race car. They'll be so glad when they can fire these engines and get the cars rolling.
All right, so we want to check in on pit road with Parker Kligerman.
Right, Rick, and I was just talking to Justin Allgaier there from the 7 car. He'll be starting 15th. I asked him, all right, what is the plan here after we've been sitting here this whole time? And he said, well, we're starting 15th, and I can with my right foot. That is the plan in the 7 to go towards the front. He said, I might evaluate just in those first couple laps, maybe laps 1 through 5, to see how the car handles. But from there, if I'm comfortable, I'm going towards the front because that's where I feel most comfortable here at Daytona. He said, because the aggression of these races as we get late in the season and drivers are trying to make the playoffs is wild, Dave. So we'll see if that 7 car goes towards the front.
Parker, rookie Austin Hill is in the playoffs by virtue of a couple of wins in the 21 car. and he leads the Rookie of the Year standings at this point. It's interesting because total trust is the word that Crew Chief Andy Street used between Austin Hill and his spotter, Derek Nealon. Said those guys, even though Austin's a rookie, they believe in each other. When you think about the 2 wins that Austin has on the year, they've come at tracks where the spotter and the driver are integral in making it happen. Atlanta, and of course this race in February here at Daytona. So total trust, sometimes that's what it takes, Rick, to get to the front and win here at Daytona.
See Austin Hill in the 21 getting strapped in. You heard the cars fire up. They're still in the garage area. Again, it's been a long time, but the crowd is so appreciative of seeing what's happening. Cars are beginning to roll from the garage out onto pit road. And those that have been waiting here all afternoon are excited to see what's happening.
It's like a new trend. I almost feel like we're watching the start of practice, not the start of the race, seeing those cars right out of the garage. We haven't seen that all year. They've been practicing off pit road. This was going back a few years.
Drivers working their way out onto pit road as we're getting ready for pre-race ceremonies. Before that, the big one is always a possibility, but what if you're the start of the big one and how it feels? Well, how did it happen for Myatt Snyder? Let's take a look back.
White flag is in the air. Nobody's sitting down here tonight at Daytona. Here they come.
All right, so I'm in a spot where I'm like, this is perfect.
2 wide, 3 wide, mid-pack on.
Now, a couple guys you see go to the top there. They're trying to make something happen. I take the middle. And I'm like, all right, we've got some momentum now. So I'm thinking, all right, I'm going to finish 3rd to 5th, and we'll be all right here. And this part happens super fast.
Trouble further back.
And then the part where I'm going up in the air, that happened really slow.
Myatt Snyder up and into the wall.
And then I'm seeing the roofs of the car, so I'm like, oh, boy, this is not going to go anywhere positive fast.
Horrific contact for Myatt Snyder. The front of the car is gone.
I remember getting to a stop and just looking to my right, and I see this big gaping hole in the side of the car where the transmission was, and I'm just looking at grass, and I'm like, there's nothing here. And then I get out of the car, and I'm like, there's really nothing here.
Austin Hill was the first back to the line, but again, it is Myatt Snyder out of the race car and walking away under his own power.
I got to race the very next week, and that's a miracle in and of itself, and thankful. That's the word I can say about it.
Very thankful to the security and safety of these cars, that a driver that can experience that kind of an accident, that kind of a wreck, and walk away from it.
Yeah, all the wrecks here at Daytona are obviously scary. The speeds are so high, the proximity of cars to other cars, but when they get airborne, it's one thing, and then the next level of danger when they get up into that catch fence, just so scary. It was great to see Myatt climb out and walk around. And he mentioned how destroyed the car was. I mean, the engine was out of it. It was literally in pieces.
Car starting to file onto pit road. Let's check back in on pit road, and we'll go to Dave.
And guys, wanted to focus in on another Richard Childress racing car. That is the 2 of Sheldon Creed. And I would say his theme lately is Creed Rising. Sheldon Creed has gained 61 points on the bubble over the last 7 races and is now just 39 points out of the playoffs in 13th position. 4 races to the finish. He can climb in on points, or he can just make it academic with a win here tonight. And I think with an RCR car, that is completely possible, Parker.
Well, Dave, one driver that's going to be really fun to watch tonight is starting all the way at the back. That is the 14 of Justin Haley, a 4-time winner on super speedways in the Xfinity Series. Got his first Cup win here at Daytona in the summer race here. And he said, when I did my Cup contract, I wanted to come and do Xfinity races at the super speedways. He's getting that opportunity with Colleague, and Colleague will now have 4 cars in this race. Seeing those teams work so well together, they just get another one in that train that they put at the front, Marty.
Another Colleague car is A.J. Allmendinger, the regular season championship leader right now in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. He is so good at the super speedway races, but he's never won a super speedway race. In fact, the last 3 times he has been leading the white flag lap at a super speedway race and did not come away with the win. AJ has pushed several other drivers in the Colleague camp to wins. Tonight, he's hoping they help him out a little bit, Rick.
Yeah, and so many times a plan is put in place, and these drivers feel like they can follow it, but there's, 36, 37 other drivers that are trying to mess up that plan.
Yeah, usually when most good plans go awry, about time they wave the green flag, it seems to just really scatter. I mean, it's so easy to say what you should do, but as you mentioned it, it's a full field of cars, and what everybody else does. This place is narrower than everyone thinks. It's hard to find each other when the moment is the biggest.
Garage emptying out, people coming to pit road. We're getting ready for racing, and that means it is time for pre-race ceremonies here at Daytona.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we ask that you please rise as you are able and remove your hats as the Dr. Phillips High School Air Force Junior ROTC Color Guard presents our nation's colors. Here to offer tonight's invocation, please welcome from Central Baptist Church in Daytona Beach, Florida, Sonny Gallman.
Let us pray. God of all creation, we give our thanks to you on this night for all the gifts that we're able to enjoy in your presence. We ask that you would bless the drivers and their crews, keep the weather clear from here, and we stand together with all those around the world who stand up for justice and freedom. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Here to perform our national anthem, please welcome the St. John Center for the Arts Chorus at St. Augustine High School.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Let's hear it for the St. John Center for the Arts Chorus's performance of our national anthem. And now, race fans, here to say the most famous words in motorsports, please welcome Wawa Regional Marketing Manager Kevin McGrath, accompanied by Wawa Area Manager Stephanie Andrews.
Race fans, are you ready?
Are you ready?
Drivers, start your engine!
Fired up. Engines are fired up. We're ready for 100 laps, 250 miles from Daytona for the Xfinity Series. It's all next. He becomes the youngest Xfinity Series winner at Daytona ever.
Alva, Florida's Ross Chastain wins in Daytona.
The 10 turns the 16. Around goes the 11.
It will be Justin Haley scoring the win.
Right, baby.
It's Justin Haley by inches. He has won again.
Yeah, guys, thank you so much.
And welcome back to the world center of racing, Daytona International Speedway, as we get ready for 100 laps, 250 miles for the Xfinity Series. And want to take a look at the starting grid. Again, qualifying was rained out earlier today, so the field's set for the rule book. A.J. Allmendinger and Noah Gragson will make up row number 1.
We heard the report earlier. Sheldon Creed back there in row 4, first driver outside the playoffs. Looking for a big night tonight in Daytona.
Ty Gibbs right next to him. 5 wins already in 2022. As we look a little further back, Austin Hill, great success on these super speedways already. He'll start in row 7.
Yeah, and the Cup driver, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. will be behind the wheel of the number 48. He'll start inside row 9.
A little further back, Myatt Snider. We just saw how it happened and the danger that goes with racing here at Daytona. He will start in the 11th spot.
Yeah, Jet Burton back in row 15. They give us some great views on board tonight. And then a little bit farther back, you see a couple cars to the rear. Driver change actually in the 5. Josh Williams takes over the 5 car.
Jesse Awuji behind the wheel of the 34, starting in row 17. Let's dial up Riley Herbst, the driver of the 98s, and Junior. Get him up on the radio.
Riley, it's Dale Jr. in the NBC booth. You got us, buddy? I think he's pulling to a stop here, indexing a wheel. We'll give him a second to get that done. Here we go. So when the index wheel is just not quite straight, so you can change the splines, get it to where you want. We'll try him now. Hey, Riley, it's Dale Jr. in the NBC booth. You got us?
I got you.
See you indexing the wheel there, buddy. Hey, it's been a bit of a delay. How does that delay affect the driver? How do you get up on the wheel, get ready to go?
Yeah, well, first off, just hats off to NASCAR and everybody here at Daytona for sticking it out with us, trying to get racing here under the lights. I don't know, we ate a lot of snacks, drank a lot of Monster Energy, and now we're ready to go put on a show for these fans and hopefully put this Ford Mustang in victory lane.
What's a general approach to super speedway racing for you? What's your tactic tonight?
Well, hopefully we're not starting too bad here in 6, so hopefully we can keep this track position, try to get up with some of our friends, as you could say, and kind of control this race, and we'll see where the night takes us.
All right, Riley, thanks for talking to us tonight, and good luck.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
He did all that while he threaded the needle up there, getting his original starting position. Pretty smart.
And pulled right in front of the other Monster Energy car. So 2 that will look very similar out on the racetrack tonight. And for a few more updates before the green flag flies, let's go back to Parker.
Well, Rick, for Brandon Jones, he comes into this race firmly in the playoffs, and so talking to him and his team, I asked, what do you do here? What's the objective? They said, we really don't have much to gain other than to maybe learn some side drafting tactics we feel like we could do better, and that's for Brandon to learn, of course. But they said also, we've got nothing to lose, so why don't we go out there, try to get to the front and win this race? He'll be doing that from the 12th position, Dave.
Sam Mayer is 9th out of 12 in the playoff hunt with 4 races to go. 125 above the cut line, but as crew chief Taylor Moyer says, we need to not lose that momentum and not lose points tonight. That's one of our main goals here. And if you wonder if the 19-year-old behind the wheel is amped up, he radioed his crew, I've taken some caffeine gum, I've chewed it up, and I am ready to go. And the crew chief said, well, if you're still amped up after the race, you can help us drive the rig home. Maybe that'll be with a victory, Marty.
Caffeine gum. I got to try that, Dave. Hey, Joe Gibbs Racing has won at Daytona 4 times in the Xfinity Series with 4 different drivers. But the last driver to win here, Matt Kenseth, in July of 2013. Ty Gibbs was 10 years old on that day. The message to Ty before the race, very simple. You don't have a lot of experience at super speedway races. Go out there, earn some respect in stage 1 and 2. Show them what a car you have and how quick you can be on the track, and that you'll be a good follower and a good pusher, and maybe you'll have some help towards the end of the race.
Yeah, just a reminder, Ty Gibbs, 19 years old, so one of the younger drivers in the field. All right, Steve, let's talk about this race and the race analysis here for tonight.
Yeah, 100 laps, 250 miles, the first stage and the second stage, both 30 laps in length. Final stage, 40 laps. They can run around 50 laps on fuel, so no pit stops required in either stage. And you know, I think the radar looks good, but just a reminder, you know, this race will be official at lap 50. That would make an official race today. So If we do get a pop-up shower and the radar starts looking questionable, you could see some intensity pick up quick.
And that is not what anyone here wants to see. We'd love to see this one go all the way to the end and find out who gets to the Ruoff Mortgage victory lane. What are the keys?
One of the most important things that's going to happen to the guy that wins the race and gets to victory lane tonight is the push at the end. The right push from the right person at the very right time. Probably coming off turn 4. Coming to that checker flag, getting the push that you need. The guy not taking you 3 wide and passing you.
Well, if you want to get that push, you got to be around, which means you're going to have to miss the wreck or wrecks and many wrecks. We've seen them. They can be big here. You can have nothing to do with them and be caught up in them. So you got to find a way through them.
Yeah, know how to drive using that mirror. It's going to be so important. The drivers are going to spend as much time looking in that mirror and that rear windshield, knowing when to block and how to block and who to get the right pusher to take advantage of it late in the race. You're going to have to look. You're going to spend as much time going backwards as you are forwards.
Yeah, the yellow light's still on as they're making laps around here, getting ready for the start of this race. Let's listen in to the one, a little pep talk before the green flag flies.
Roger, Dodger, ready for takeoff. Absolutely, this night racing stuff got me amped up. Hell yeah, how you feeling up top, Big Dog? Come on.
I'm ready. Well, energy drink, ready to rumble.
I have myself some caffeine gum. I'm ready to rip, Tater Chip. Come on.
There you have it. Caffeine gum apparently makes you want to rhyme also. Ready to rip, Tater Chip. And 31 degrees of banking in the turns. And Parker, what was going on with Haley as he was down on pit road?
Radio issues, right? These cars sit around. You never get to run them before this. And they, of course, had some issues there where on channel 1, he could hear his spotter, but he couldn't respond. So on channel 2, he would have to go to talk to the team. And so they had another radio inside the car that they switched him to. And it sounds like maybe that was the fix they needed in that 14 car.
Yeah, it's always your fear. You know, it was just expected to have one lap of qualifying, so I don't think you're going to learn much about your car, but you might find that issue in qualifying. But it's just one more risk that comes in with no practice, and that's one of the challenges of running an extra car. You know, this 14 is an extra car, and you know, it's easy to think you're just going to add a car because you have cars in your stable, cars in the garage, but you know, now you're taking a group that perhaps don't normally travel. Maybe they're shop mechanics, their level of preparation is just as high, but what they normally work on, radios aren't something you put in at the shop. That's done at the racetrack. So these are the things that always concern you when you bring an extra car. But I love seeing Haley back in the field. Always just electrifying here at the at the speedways. We've seen him, that 3 wide move come to the line was one of the coolest moves I've seen out of Colleague. We'll see if he can repeat that move again tonight.
Yeah, when you bring one of these extra cars to the racetrack, you're typically going to have a crew chief that's not crew chiefing throughout the rest of the season. You're going to have a tire guy that's probably not doing tires during the season. Everybody on that team right now is probably doing this job or working on this job for this specific race only, and they have other responsibilities at the shop throughout the week or throughout the season. So it can be a unique experience, but doesn't mean they can't have success tonight. It's just going to be an inexperienced crew.
Yeah, what it does mean, too, is Colleague racing, I think it's fair to say, there's no one that works together better than that team. That organization, they have a mindset. They're going to all work together at this racetrack, and you add a 4th car to that and a guy in Justin Haley that is bought in. He believes in that program. They can expect to get some help from him, and there's power in numbers, and you just added a really good plate racer to this group.
I think that's a really, really great point, Jeff, because this race can be controlled by the organizations, and for whatever reason, nobody does it better than Colleague. I don't know how they've done it, but they got all the drivers to buy into one sort of mentality, and they are willing to sort of sacrifice to help each other. I've been in, you know, as an owner of cars on the racetrack myself, it is hard to get all these guys on the same page, and they're, you know, they get frustrated with each other throughout the race. Somebody leaves somebody out or doesn't help somebody when they think they should. That's the end of the day of helping each other. From that moment on, they're frustrated with each other, but it never seems to happen with the Colleague guys. They're always there for each other all the way to the end.
And how well has it worked? They've won this race the last 3 years. So it is super speedway racing, teamwork. They just got to figure it out. They all buy in. That's just leadership from Matt Colleague and Chris Rice.
Well, but one thing I will add, though, there's 2 new faces in that camp this year. You know, Daniel Hemrick and Landon Castle. So we'll see if they are as committed as the former drivers, Ross Chastain being one of them. Always did such a nice job.
They want to play by the same rules. Noah Gragson in the 9 on the inside. A.J. Allmendinger in the 16 will be on the outside. So it's Junior Motorsports and Colleague Racing making up that first row. We talked with Riley Herbst in the 98. He's back in the 3rd row. And this is what the fans have been waiting for. 2 by 2, the field making their way back into the tri-oval. Fans on their feet and anticipating the green flag. It's happened a little bit later than expected, but the green flag is out at Daytona. Double yellow line, out of bounds. You cannot improve your position below it. And again, a reminder, in the Xfinity Series, they cannot lock bumpers and push each other. You can bump draft, you just cannot lock up and push.
And you really don't want to leave that in NASCAR's hands to make the decision on whether you're doing that or not. You see that outside line really organized. Bottom trying to figure itself out here.
One car, Sammy Smith, he's stuck in the middle.
Always seems to happen to rookies in their first few plate races or super speedway races, as they get shuffled out really quick if they're not careful. You have to be very defensive as a rookie driver in the draft.
So now we see A.J. Allmendinger in that 16 car. He's trying to understand which lane is going to be the fastest. He thought Noah Gragson had a run, so he went down and chose that bottom. This is, to me, really interesting with no practice. How do you determine? What do you know? You got to learn right now. So watch him, see what he does, gets his outside lanes running. Now he goes to the top to make that block. Now back to the bottom.
And these are good, smart moves. These aren't bad blocks. These are moves just to get energy off of the car behind him.
What is a bad block? Is it doing it too late?
Yeah, going really aggressive, way late. Anything that makes the guy behind you having to react to that by coming off the gas. He's trying to make these moves early enough to where these guys are expecting it. Marty, what you got?
Junior, this is also very good practice for A.J. Allmendinger, who told us in the rain fill, he said, honestly, I'm not very good at dictating the pace of these races. I'm not good at switching lanes, kind of controlling the race. Junior, you were so good at it in your career. How much of an art is there to kind of picking which lane you want to be in and controlling the pace of the race?
Well, right there, he let the one car get to his outside quarter panel. And instead of, he would typically want to move up in front of that car and get the energy off the nose. There's a little bit of an air bubble between the cars, and it sort of pushes the leader along. He needs that. He needs that push to sustain the momentum that he has leading this race. So you have to go from line to line, bottom to top, and continue to get that push from whatever car is coming forward, and not allow either line to get on your outside or on your inside. Seeing some cars bottom out here. Steve mentioned no practice, no laps. That'd be my concern as a driver, is where the travel is on the car. It's going to be comfortable, or it's going to be hitting the splitter too hard. Is that going to handicap me in this first stage?
See, Mayer got a great run on the outside. Now he's hoping for some help from that 98 car. Riley Herbst behind him. Can't just seem to get closed up to him. The bottom lane is just a little more organized right now. See that gap? But there's a gap behind Noah as well, so no real help for Noah Gragson trying to pull up to Allmendinger. Now both lanes are starting to get bunched up. So important to understand the momentum on the line that you're trying to block. If a big organized line on the top, you better get up there quickly. You better make that block just like A.J. Allmendinger did.
Back to the bottom. Bottom lane is more organized.
Down, through the middle. Here comes the 9 car. Nobody goes with him. His teammate's going to fall in behind him. That's going to kind of save Noah from being sent back through the middle of the racetrack there. Really no gain by that move. He just changed lanes. He's got to run now off the top here. What's he going to do? Dives to the inside. He's going to get a little help off the nose of the 8. That's going to put him right beside the 16. Now the 16, 3 wide. This is a bad situation for A.J. A.J.'s looking in the mirror, looking for help. Somebody get behind me. Somebody help me.
And nobody's going to want to do that. The only people that would go with him right now are people that were in trouble anyway. There's his teammate in that 10 car. He's slowing down to make a hole for him. So right there, see him trying to slow down, but then he got underneath the 19 car, and now the 10 trying to help him. Now he's stuck in the middle.
And so think about that sacrifice that Landon made right there to try to help his teammate. And let's see how that works out for them. Landon's going to get a little side draft. He's the blue car, the number 10, right behind AJ, the white car here. He chose to wait for AJ to help AJ. He's going to save AJ right here, hold AJ in the middle. Let's see if that works out here in a few laps.
Noah trying to dictate.
Now AJ's coming up through the middle a little bit, thanks to that help from his teammate.
Sheldon Creed in the 2 on the bottom of the racetrack. Noah Gragson in the 9 on the top of the racetrack. Side by side for the lead as they go down the backstretch.
And still in that middle, AJ Allmendinger and his teammate is behind him, but then Justin Haley, who started in the back, he now is behind. So you have 3 Colin cars hooked up together in that middle lane.
They're slowly at least maintaining, not losing positions. You got the 11 car now back there. That's 4 in a row, 4 colleague cars. They have found each other. Usually they do this at the front of the pack.
18, middle lane with us.
Now they have done it somehow in the middle of the field. They've been able to get together. That is extremely impressive and just speaks to the commitment they have to work together.
The 39 of Ryan Sieg, he saw that, and then he jumped to the middle, hoping to use that energy from those colleague cars. He wanted to be the first car in the front of that line.
The 2 car, Creed, in big trouble right here, sitting there by himself out front. He's going to have to block or get in front of somebody, find a little energy. He's going to try to get it off the nose of that 39 car, Ryan Sieg, in the middle lane. It's going to force Sieg to push here.
See those cars wiggling around in that middle lane? That's why they are hitting each other, trying to get forward momentum, and knocks the car sideways for just a moment.
Right now, Ryan Sieg and Sheldon Krieg. They are 12th and 13th in points. Ryan Sieg in, Sheldon Creed out of the playoffs. Parker.
Well, guys, you guys noted how Justin Haley has come from all the way in the back to be in the top 15 and match up with his teammates there. But the more impressive part of that, he's been doing it with radio that is staticky from his spotter. Just before the start of the race, they tried to fix the radios as we showed. They weren't able to fix them entirely. He came on the radio and said, I can hear you, but there's just a lot of static in there. And you guys know, especially you, Dale, when you heard these super speedways, that communication has to be crisp, has to be precise. And if it's just a little bit off, that can be really frustrating. But he's doing a great job even with that.
Yeah, without that clear information from his spotter, you second guess what you're hearing, you second guess the decisions you want to make, the choices you want to make. You need to be able to make them quickly. And now you see we're back to 2 by 2. That inside line sort of fizzled out. So think about that. Write that down in your notebook. Anytime we get 3 wide, you don't want to be on the bottom of the racetrack. That is going to be the line that loses the momentum in a 3 wide situation.
Everyone looking for real estate, at least trying to find a place in line. The high line or outside line working now for Noah Gragson, leading here at Daytona. On lap 13 and coming up on lap 14 of 30 of this first stage. And still it's Noah Gragson that's out front, has a couple teammates behind him, and Josh Berry and Sam Mayer running 2nd and 3rd, and they're taking advantage of that high line. There we see the 34, Jesse Iwuji, driving the number 34 car tonight. Jesse and NFL Hall of Fame running back Emmett Smith are co-owners of the number 34 at Jesse Iwuji Motorsports. Car sporting a Coca-Cola paint scheme. Tomorrow night is the Coke Zero 400 and the final chance for drivers to punch their playoff ticket in the Cup Series. We're expecting a crazy regular season finale. Dave.
And Rick, in addition to that beautiful Coke Zero paint scheme on the 34 car, or vinyl scheme you could say these days as these cars are wrapped, there's a logo on there from the Honor and Remember Foundation. Now, a lot of folks remember that 1 year ago today, 26 August 2022, our nation experienced the loss of 13 service members in Kabul, Afghanistan. And Jesse, who is an officer in the Navy, wanted to remember through the Honor and Remember Foundation today with that. It's to raise awareness on behalf of fallen military heroes and the families left in the wake of tragic losses. And certainly 1 year ago today, our country and all those families did experience that. We appreciate Jesse flying that logo, and we do honor and remember.
Also seeing on the 26, Freedom 13.
And
around goes the 18 into the inside wall. Caution comes out.
Hang on to it.
Sammy Smith, one of the young drivers here in the Xfinity Series, just 18 years old.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just was fighting really loose the whole race.
Wow. He got shuffled out early, guys, and went to the back of the pack and was making his way forward. So this young driver who has never raced here before in the Xfinity Series, experiencing it in the wrong way. Sammy Smith trying to come through and did not.
Talked about the balance of the car being loose. That's a shocker for me. You know, we usually, since the repave here, haven't really fought massive handling issues or any kind of handling issues like we used to with the older surface. But, man, this racetrack is aging a little bit. Handling coming into play a little bit tonight.
And trying to also, you know, the faster you can make this car, get it out of the air, take all the downforce off of it that you can, that hurts the handling. And with no practice, it's really hard to know where you stand. Sammy Smith just not having experience here. Not really. He's just filling his notebook out. He doesn't have a notebook yet. And, you know, you hate to see him fall out of the race this early. Had a really good run last week, finished third at Watkins Glen, did a great job. Let's go back and see what happened.
He was seconds stopped on the grass there, and the AMR safety team immediately to him.
I've seen that so many times. I've been in that situation so many times. You're coming around the corner, and I mean, even with him talking about his car being loose, you just never feel like you'd ever spin out. And once the car starts going, it's hard to save it. It just drives right down the track into the inside wall.
There's only one way to learn how to race on these super speedways, and that's get out there and do it. And, you know, we talk a lot about practice. We've said it multiple times in this show already, but the lack of practice for these young drivers is a real detriment. It's very hard to come to a place like Daytona in a series you've never raced before and have any idea what to expect from your race car. And it's just such a major challenge.
Learning the hard way for Sammy Smith in the 18. Finished Xfinity Series best third at Watkins Glen, and not the way he wanted tonight to end, on the back of the record.
That record was a great example of the safety devices to keep the cars on the ground. You can see that 18 as he started to spin around, the back of the car getting very, very light, and almost at the exact same time the roof flaps opened and it kind of set the car back down. You know, those are cars 20, 25 years ago that we used to see get airborne. So, you know, as the technology and the safety innovations improve, that was a great single car example. We still see cars get upside down, but normally it's been hit by another car when it's in that situation. Fortunately, those single car accidents seem to be a little bit more in control. Decision time here, you know, it's an interesting point because it's kind of in a fuel window to get to the end of the second stage. So it wouldn't shock me if some of the cars decide to come in and fill up with fuel right here.
What's interesting, Steve, is that some of the junior motorsports cars come and some don't. You know, you got control of the field up there, and half of your team bails out, Dave.
That included Sam Mayer in that blue and black #1. There he is. He will take on fuel here, as it does get them to another window, plus an adjustment. You see it happening there. He told the crew, I'm really free. Marty.
Leader Noah Gregson on pit road. Going to be 4 fresh Goodyear tires. You see the adjustment, saying the car just a little bit too free to him. He said he was asked by Luke Lambert, his crew chief, how do you feel about your ability to move around and make moves? He said, good, really good. So yes, Steve, they're pitting here thinking we're going to stay out all the way until the end of stage 2, which signals to me they believe this is going to be a track position race here at Daytona today. Get it now while you can.
And the first caution coming out just after lap 17 for the 18 of Sammy Smith into the inside barrier. NASCAR on USA is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. Credit One Bank, a credit card company. And start solving your projects today at northerntool.com. We're made for this. First caution has come out in stage 1. Still 12 laps remaining. They're coming up on 11 to go in stage 1. Just a couple came to pit road, Steve.
Yeah, we had a few come to pit road, as Marty had mentioned, kind of opening up that fuel window to run to the end of stage 2. And I'm noticing those there'll be 11 laps to go in this stage when we take the green. And, you know, there's a playoff point right out there. So you have Josh Berry and Herbst, Ty Gibbs, Jones, 4 cars that are solidly in the playoffs. They're looking to try to fill that bucket up a little bit.
Riley Herbst will be on the inside. Josh Berry on the outside in the 8s, and back to racing. Monster Energy cars, nose to tail.
Good organization on the inside here. Big push is coming. Going to put them monster cars out front here.
I'm glad I don't spot those two. That would make my job tougher.
Riley Herbst in the front one in the 98. And Ty Gibbs, the 19-year-old, in the 54 just behind him.
Now he's got to pick which line to block because they're both coming. Got to put Josh Berry in the middle now. Not a good situation for him.
Yeah, no help behind that 98 right now.
Yeah, Ty Gibbs gets pushed around the 98 into the lead.
That 48 car, that red and white car on the bottom, that's Ricky Stenhouse Jr. We know how aggressive he is in the Cup Series. I would expect to see that same level of aggression tonight.
And once again, the Monster Energy cars have found each other.
Yeah, Ford and a Toyota, Stuart Haas Racing Ford that you're on board with right here with Riley Herbst. In front of you, Joe Gibbs Racing Toyota.
They're going to try to get this top going, try to drag everybody up there with them. We're 3 wide, so like I said before, I don't know if I want to be on that inside lane.
A lot of sparks back there. It looks like a flat left front tire maybe back in the middle of the pack. I saw a lot of sparks.
And the cautions come out. And so the pack will slow down once again. It didn't look like anybody got into the wall, but you mentioned the sparks.
Yeah, I couldn't tell.
Yeah, it's Kyle Sieg and debris coming. Yeah, tire carcass coming off in turn 2. So Kyle Sieg, brother to Ryan Sieg. Kyle running the 38.
Top of your screen, you see the sparks. Tire carcass has already come off. Big piece of debris out there on the racetrack now. So obviously a tire goes down. Trying to see if he was last on pit road. It's just hard to say what caused it. I don't see any really damage on the fender. So I don't know if, you know, obviously he either ran over something or no obvious contact. Now the concern is all those sparks you saw. You know, that was probably the left side sway bar arm, some of the spacers on the splitter. Now look, this is early. We expect a lot of crashes, be a lot of damaged cars. So the most important thing right here is don't make it worse. Kind of fix this car, do everything you need to do. Earlier in the race, we saw the first caution was for the youngster, Sammy Smith, behind the wheel of the 18. Got a little loose off turn 4. He's standing by with Parker.
Right, Steve, just checked and released from the infield care center here at Daytona. Sammy, we saw the spin off of turn 4. What happened from your point of view?
Yeah, I was fighting really free from the start of the race and just honestly probably just made a rookie move. I just feel like I was having issues keeping up with the 21 there and just couldn't, or I guess the 11, but yeah, just too free and made a mistake.
There you go, guys. Just made a little mistake. Rookie mistake. That's why it's rookie.
Yeah, a rookie mistake, Parker, and he didn't know he was making the mistake, right? You can't just, you know, quit, and he was trying to drive the race car. One thing that you can do here is when you're having trouble early in the race is it's okay. Like, you can fall back and get yourself in a situation that is comfortable. You know you've got a stage in coming on lap 30. See some cars pitting now to protect yourself for a little bit, Dave.
Yeah, that would be Jeff Burton in the blue 27, and also the black and red number 8 of Josh Berry, who said, I need some help. Crew chief Mike Bumgarner said, come on down, we'll give you 4 tires. We're going to take some rounds out of the rear of this race car. And you see him working on the right and the left back there to try to get this car in better shape for Josh, who we saw get stuck in the middle. The good news was that his teammates picked him up back there in the middle, but he really doesn't have a car right now that he could drive well here. So adjustments here. We'll see if Josh in the 8th can make his way back to the front.
So a few more takers on pit road. It's the second caution has come out, and it's a tire going down and the carcass on the track of the 38 of Kyle Sieg.
COVID-19. Some people get it, and some people can get it bad.
NASCAR mobile app today. Parker.
Well, Rick, we heard from the rookie Sammy Smith on him being too loose off turn 4. We'll take a listen to what the veteran Justin Allgaier had to say on the radio.
Everybody's really free. I'm free on entry, but it's all because of where the timing of the runs is and how much I have to lift on entry because of the guy in front of me. The more I lift, the freer I get.
And he is very observant for a reason. Every single car in my section of pit road is very loose in these first few runs, including veteran Ricky Stenhouse Jr. So a lot of drivers dealing with some loose race cars out there.
You know, Jeff, you brought up a good point, though, and it's easy to say after poor Sammy Smith had the accident, but I just think at his age and experience at Daytona, I don't think he knows what's available to him to help that race car. My point being, if he literally gets out of the pack, the amount of air on that car, it's going to drive just fine, and you won't lose a lap in the short first stage. So that his crew could have maybe helped him out if they knew he was on that much of an issue with balance.
If I know everybody's loose, I'm going to start getting right on everybody's right rear quarter panel, and that's going to make them even more uncomfortable in those race cars, especially on entry. That will get guys out of the throttle quick.
So that's the tactic you're going to use?
Yeah.
Make everyone more uncomfortable than they already are.
Make them lift.
That's how you make friends. I like that move.
Ty Gibbs on the inside, Riley Herbst on the outside as we go back to racing.
Side by side, trying to side draft each other a little bit. Look at the lines behind them. See who's organized. Looks pretty even to me. Tops a little bit closer together. They're going to have the momentum off the top here down the back straightaway.
Yeah, third car back in that outside lane. Noah Gregson, remember, he pitted on lap 17. He's worked himself all the way back up to the front of this pack.
Creed gets put in the middle 3 wide. Now they're going to try to organize. On the bottom, still strung out, a little space between each one. Castle really committed to the back bumper. Herbst.
Coming to 5 to go for this stage. Things are going to get aggressive.
Riley Herbst now in control of this race. We'll see if he's able to block that inside line. Looks like a pretty good run from Ty Gibbs coming on the inside, and he won't be able to get down in front of him.
A.J. Allmendinger is able to help that 19 finally, and now that's going to get that 19 to the back bumper of the 54. That's the hope of that inside line. They're moving up in front of Creed now. Allmendinger doesn't want to leave his teammate down there, though, so he's going back to the bottom.
Organization on that bottom line not as good as what we've seen on the top, and so once again Riley Herbst got a pretty good shove.
Now the bottom looks better to me, Rick. It's going to clear the 54 almost. Herbst down there side drafting. That's a good move. It's going to pull him back up there, but look at these guys, 3 wide, almost 4. Ricky Stenhouse is going to have to lift here trying to save the 9 car. Man, that was almost an accident.
Yeah, they got bottled up high there.
It opened up the middle lane.
I thought the 9 had an issue there for a second.
Look at that 2 car. When all that happened, they never had to lift in that middle lane, and now Creed is leading that middle lane. He's got Haley pushing him. He's wanting so badly to clear those cars.
Look how quickly this pack's coming up on the back of AJ, though. They all have to lift. AJ put his teammate there in a situation, Hemrick, where Hemrick had to lift.
Jeff Burton trying to give that 14 of Haley a little bit of a shove.
And he just pitted on lap 22, so he's done a nice job of working himself up through that pack as well.
3 to go here in this stage.
Sheldon Creed needing stage points. The top 10 at the end of each stage get stage points. We'll see if he's able to capitalize on this track position.
A lot of momentum coming on that inside line. They're all tight. The 7 car right in the back of Hemrick there, the 11. They're going to get up here and push AJ. AJ's going to push the 19. That's going to push the 54 clear.
2 Gibbs cars, the 19 and the 54. Look at that push by AJ into the back of the 19.
But the side draft is not allowing the 19 to clear. The 2 side drafting the 19, no matter how much AJ's pushing it. Wasn't able to clear right there. AJ's still in the back of that 19.
2 to go.
Yeah, 3 wide at about the 3rd lane. That's going to take some energy out of this pack. They're all now trying to get back to 2 instead of 3 wide. See how it separated the pack? And so now advantage inside line.
Oh, the 11 out of the gas. Got a little bit up off the bottom, had to lift. Now he's 3 wide. The 7 really flirting with that inside line, that double yellow line there, making that pass.
And that was a big advantage to Creed in that outside line. The inside lost its energy as soon as that happened. Now Creed has a shot to win this stage.
Side drafting the 19, trying to get by Brandon Jones.
14 just not able to get up there and help the 2. Now the 14 is 3 wide, but the 2's teammate, the 21, Austin Hill now, is going to have a big run. AJ to the middle. AJ's going to have the help. Justin Allgaier to the middle. Brandon Jones falls back on that inside line.
Watch this run coming from the behind. Who's it going to push? I think it's an advantage right here. You saw Gibbs popped up to that outside line. Smart move. That's where the energy was.
Here comes Creed. Here comes the 21. Pushing hard on the back end of that 54. Not enough momentum to create a run.
How aggressive does Sheldon Creed get to try to win stage 1? To the bottom of the racetrack. Ty Gibbs comes down to block. Through 3 and 4, the final time of stage 1. Gibbs masterfully blocking the runs from behind, and Hill wins stage 1.
That's pretty aggressive racing right there for the stage. We knew it was coming.
That was some aggressive racing, but if you get the lead, you just got to be able to move quickly back and forth, left to right, to be able to control and get energy from whichever lane's coming, and you can control the front of this race and keep that lead.
4th stage win this year for Ty Gibbs. He had to work for it. A big run coming up at the end of that stage, but it's the 54 of Gibbs getting the win. So in-car cameras and radio broadcast, search NASCAR in your app store, and you can download and start a free trial. There were 11 cars that hadn't come to pit road, and a few of those that have already come have come back to pit road now. Dave?
Eyes on the blue 21 of Austin Hill. He took lefts last time. He'll take rights this time. His teammate, Sheldon Creed, in the red and white number 2. He'll take lefts here. Left side Goodyear's in Sunoco fuel, Marty.
And you see bottom of your screen, A.J. Allmendinger, who said he's a little bit free. Blue slicker, as crew chief said, it's going to take a little bit of time here. We're going to work on a few things. See the 45 car backwards in his pit stall. Also at the front end of the pit road, Ty Gibbs. That was fuel only. We'll double check that on the 54 after the stage win.
Heavy damage, it looks to me, on the right front of the 21 who made a contact with this 45. We'll take another look at it right here. Watch this. Oh, yeah. Big dent in front of that tire. I believe that 21 is going to have to come down pit road.
Getting ready for the restart, and it will be the start of stage 2, the NASCAR Xfinity Series from Daytona, the Wawa 250, powered by Coca-Cola. We're seeing the 21 back on pit road. This is the reason why.
So a 2-tire change, you know you're going to be close when you leave. And right here, this is purely the crew chief's responsibility. He needs to see the 45 coming in. The 21 has to make way at that point. And then a little bit, or here's another good overhead view. I mean, you have to let the 45 come into the stall. I put that purely on the crew of the 21 clearing his driver out. Got to give him more space.
Yeah, then Sage Karam and John Henry Nemechek. Sage coming in, John leaving. They make contact. A lot of stuff going on pit road.
Very busy place, pit road, and it wasn't full at the time, so quite a few cars stayed out. Josh Berry and Jeb Burton, they're making up row 1. Josh Berry in the 8 on the inside, Jeb Burton in the 27 on the outside. Stage 2 underway, and now we'll see a few drivers that have not been running up front and see what they do with Jeb Burton in the 27, do a little side drafting early to pull the 8 back of Josh Berry.
Brandon Brown on that inside line, big run coming, big push coming. Back to that back bumper, that 8 car, now down the back straightaway. A little more organization in that outside line, a little tighter bumper to bumper configuration there.
Jeb's got Blaine Perkins behind him, that's his teammate.
Mentioned at the start of the race, these cars can't lock bumpers. They can't push. They can bump draft. And so NASCAR always keeping an eye on any cars that look as though they're staying closer together than they should be.
Josh moves to the top to get energy there, but both lines were coming at about the same time. So now that lets the 68 car, Brandon Brown, to the inside. Josh is going to hope that he's going to get great pushes from this outside line to make that work out for him. But the outside's getting a little unorganized. You see about 3 rows back, they went 3 wide there. That's going to take a little energy out of that outside line.
There's some energy in that black number 54 car, though. Just won that stage, working himself back up through the field. A fast car is who you want pushing you. Really makes that line go.
Brandon Brown has good help on the bottom, but he leaves it. He goes up there in front of Josh Berry. Anthony Alfredo now on the 23 on the inside line trying to get alongside the leader.
And he's got some good cars behind him. Junior Motorsports cars lined up. Then behind him, Sheldon Creed. We've seen him run well all night. So a lot of fast race cars in that bottom lane.
Organization looking good on that high line. It's led by Brandon Brown. Parker.
Right, as we watch him lead here, this is a huge night for Brandon Brown. It's been highly publicized that that team has run into a bit of financial woes, and he's had to step out of the seat and drive some other cars in this series. And he told me tonight is a big night for him. If they're able to win and get themselves in the playoffs, he's talking to some partners that will be able to give him the funding to get more competitive cars in the playoffs. If that doesn't happen, that might not happen where he's able to get in those cars as we get into the Xfinity Series playoffs. So this is a huge night, a lot of pressure on Brandon to try and find a way to get that 68 car in victory lane as he's trying to hold on to the lead. Looks like they're falling back on that top line a little bit.
Inside line starting to move now. Anthony Alfredo in the 23. Allgaier in the 7 pushing.
Yeah, that outside line is going to continue to lose more momentum. As you see the 3 wide, that 3 wide back there, all that really is 3 cars side drafting each other. And it just slows them down and it brings that outside line backwards.
Yeah, we talk about energy. That's what we're talking about. It's you want forward momentum on your energy, not going backwards. See Anthony Alfredo leading this pack. 3 top 10s this year, 2 of those World Super Speedways.
It's interesting to me, though, every time that someone from the inside gets the lead, which keeps happening, they go to the top. Why are they doing that? Why are they not just continuing to run in that bottom lane if that's what got them to the front?
Yeah, it's like they're afraid that the top lane's going to get organized, go single file. Something makes them bail up top right away. I'm with you, Junior. The bottom was what got you there.
Yeah, if it does go single file to the top and you're the last guy of the party, then you're running last. They'll just leave you. So everybody's guarding that a little bit, I think. Great shot right here. Jeb Burton, State Water Heaters.
The helmet cam.
Yeah, Jeb's a winner in Super Speedway, won Talladega.
Never lifting. Dave.
And you know Jeb Burton, he's right on board with the State Water Heaters on board. Look here, he is confident at tracks like this. His 1 career win at Talladega. He knows how to get it done. And he's not just looking up to his teammate, Anthony Alfredo, who leads currently, but he still believes his old teammates, Justin Haley, A.J. Allmendinger, that he can work with them this day with their Chevrolet. So we'll see if they connect later on. There's Jeb in that blue 27.
You're on board with Jeb in that 27. You have the gauge flashing red, but it didn't look too hot. It looked low. Right there, you see it. I'm going to circle it. It's right here on the front of it. It's flashing red, but the needle.
Yeah, it ain't moving.
Yeah, the needle's not moved off whatever the first number is. I can't quite make it out. I don't know if that's a pressure gauge or what it is, but I'm going to say the gauge is broken because if that's, say, oil pressure or fuel pressure and it's 0, then there's no way the engine's running. So I would say that's a gauge. That's an issue right there. Could be water pressure as well. Well, I don't know. I mean, you know, this is different. They don't have the digital dash like the Cup cars as Noah climbs the hill to take the 23 wide.
Allgaier up front now in the 7. He's got Ryan Sieg in the 39 and
all right,
chaos behind.
Allgaier made it to the front on that bottom line, but now they're all 3 wide. I'd be careful not to stay in that bottom line. I know we keep telling you different things here, but now when they're 3 wide, that inside line is probably not the place to be. You either want to be in the middle lane or the top lane. So I'd be, with Allgaier, I'd be kind of guarding back and forth to the middle of the top, because I think this inside line is just going to continue to fade.
And you're starting to see cars move around a great deal. Look at that car right there. Look at Josh Berry. He's just moving around, getting the push by Jeb.
When we're just 2 wide, that bottom's okay. When we see a lot of 3 wide, especially up toward the front, that bottom isn't where I want to be. Now that we're just back to 2 wide, pretty confident to be on this bottom groove where the 7 car is. Try to tow these guys along. There's not a lot of organization in the outside line. Your spotter's going to tell you that.
Alfredo staying behind the 7 as he caught up to him. Sheldon Creed right behind him, running 3rd.
Just no organization right there on the outside, as you see. Still 3 wide there. Guys trying to take advantage or take positions from each other. Not a lot of helping each other. It's more trying to pass each other when they can, while that inside line stays organized and stays moving forward.
Ricky Stenhouse Jr., you can see him out of the side of this 98 car with the Ford Performance Cam. See him right there in that red and white car. Noah, then Ty, then Ricky. So that outside lane, once again, with some good cars in it.
There's Alfredo moving to the outside now, seeing if he can get in front of that line.
Everybody lined up in the top here. Alfredo, though, peeking a little bit to the bottom. Doesn't go.
We talked about it, though. Now, don't be the last guy at the party, man. You're starting to see that outside line form. You've got to get into it right now.
And it makes no sense when it happens. It just starts happening. Everybody goes to the top, and now all these guys you see at the bottom of the screen on the inside, they're thinking, oh, no, I got to get up in this top groove. I got to get in this top line, or I'm going to the very back.
Ryan Sieg jumps in line, but they're all following the Pied Piper. Justin Allgaier took everyone to the top and leading here at Daytona.
Research shows that people remember ads with young people having a good time. So to help you remember that Liberty Mutual customizes your home insurance, here's a pool party.
Look what I brought!
Liberty Mutual! They customize your home insurance!
So you only pay for what you need. Young people having a good time with insurance. Young people, good times, insurance.
Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Toyota, let's go places.
This is supersonic Wi-Fi from Xfinity. It's fast.
So gaming with your niece has never felt more intense. Hey, what does this button do?
No, don't!
Welcome to the fastest internet on the largest gig speed network.
Are you crying, Uncle Ed?
No! A little.
Only from Xfinity. Unbeatable internet made to do anything, so you can do anything.
Ed Vance here, and I'm at my favorite place again.
Sorry, did you say your name is Ed Vance?
That's me.
Like advance?
Crazy, right? And it just so happens he knows everything in advance.
Oh, you know the future? Did you know I needed 10W30?
No. I just know everything here in Advance Auto Parts, like where the 10W30 is.
So you don't know what I'll do next?
Actually, I do. You will be going to the oil aisle.
He's good.
He's Advance. I spent a lot of time here. He's here a lot.
This is how we advance.
The white flag is out. A notice to all drivers that the regular season is coming to an end.
White flag here. One more.
That now is the time to fight for the final playoff spot. Or surrender.
Now's the time. Let's do it. Show me what you got, boys. Let's get it. Auto boys! Yeah!
Hey, I've got a huge announcement. I'm returning to the game.
of trivia. Rival schools in the ultimate quiz show.
Coop, you're an avid reader. Of books? No.
Bless your heart.
Capital One College Bowl premieres September 9th on NBC.
Allgaier still up front. Let's see who is on the move. Power moves are brought to you by the Propane Education and Research Council. Justin Haley, 23 spots. Jeb Burton in that 27, up 21 spots as we ride along the helmet cam. Thanks to State Water Heaters. And things heating up. It was that outside line that had separated and was trying to pull away, but now Allgaier having to go to the bottom of the racetrack. Sheldon Creed in the 2 with a run. Here comes Anthony Alfredo once again in the 23 on the high line.
And the one guy that sort of broke up the high line parade was Noah Gregson. Well, a few cars went down there to the bottom of the racetrack. Riley Herbst and Noah. Noah's just kind of going wherever he can go to gain positions, and that's keeping us 2x2, keeping us racing. Big run from the 9 there, trying to make a move on the 23, too late.
As Riley Herbst behind the 9, but up front it's still the 7 of Justin Allgaier. Parker.
Well, Rick, as we look at Justin Allgaier leading that bottom lane, and guys, we've been discussing about how the bottom looks really fast tonight, and then these drivers keep moving the top. Well, just a couple laps ago, when he was still up top, take a listen to what he had to say on the radio.
Why do these guys want to get to the top so bad? The bottom is freaking faster. Agreed. I'm telling you right now, the bottom is definitely faster.
And right after he said that, he went to the bottom and sure enough has held on to that lead and been able to lead from that bottom lane. So the drivers are noticing as well. A veteran like Justin Allgaier seeing that, guys, and saying that's the faster lane to be in, Dave.
Sticking to the bottom lane as well, the red and white 2 of Sheldon Creed. 8 stage points earned at the end of that first stage, and that is what he needs. He's making gains toward the bottom, toward the 12th position in points. Now, Sheldon loves racing here. The best he's finished in either series, trucks or Xfinity, has been 6th, but he believes with the car that he's got that he can get to the front and stay to the front tonight. We'll see how it turns out, Marty.
Dave, the other thing that drug everybody to the bottom looked 5th back there in line. All 4 Collin cars are lined up together. I heard several spotters saying, hey, the Collin cars are on the bottom. Let's go take advantage of it. This is why they have 4 cars in the race tonight. Up front, Landon Castle. He desperately needs stage points. They're trying to drag the 10 car as close as they can to those stage points to be awarded, Rick, here in 10 laps.
Yeah, you see the 2 of Sheldon Creed moving around, and as fast as Justin Allgaier thinks the bottom of this racetrack is, he has not been able to clear Anthony Alfredo in that high line.
Creed is laying back a little bit, trying to create runs off the nose of the 21 car to try to pass the 7, and that's really stalled out this inside line. Instead of just staying back in the back of this 7 car and just pushing, it's really allowed that outside to take the lead.
How about that 21 car? We saw damage on pit road. Big piece of silver tape flutter on the right front fender, and he's found his way right back up into the top 6 or 8.
To me, that guy right there is the Austin Hill. He is the guy that's the biggest threat to Colleague tonight. It's good to see that team get that car where he can drive it and run up front with that damage. That damage is going to get beat up, though, throughout this race, and they're going to need to continue to monitor it.
Junior, you make a great point. They just radioed to Austin Hill. Be careful with that right front. You're starting to get too close there, and they just mentioned it to him so that he would not push too hard with that and damage it further.
As we were covering this action, the 11 of Daniel Hemrick came onto pit road. I'm not sure exactly why or what the reason was, but here he is out here by his lonesome exiting turn 2. The pack is coming off turn 2 at speed. With 8 laps to go, we're hearing he had a flat tire on the 11, so no choice but to pit. With 8 laps to go, though, I believe he's going to go a lap down very quickly to this pack of cars.
Yeah, the pack moving around this track at about 190 miles an hour, so all that energy working together.
And what does he do when the pack catches him? Does he stay on the bottom of the racetrack, go to the top of the racetrack? What line does he try to force into pushing him so that he doesn't drop too far?
And often that really will mix this pack up as they go. He'll probably stay on the bottom, and that'll put them 3 wide for a little while. And as he gets further back in the pack, it'll start to really affect them. The first few cars will go by him pretty quickly. But then as they start, the longer he's with them, the faster he gets going, and that starts mixing the pack up.
Some good information that Alex Janss's crew chief could give Daniel is there is no one a lap down. So don't feel like you have to pick up the front of this pack, right? With only 7 laps to go, it's okay if you get lapped. We'll get the free pass. Let's
to the middle.
Do anything crazy.
They put the 7 car on the bottom of the racetrack. Creed got to run, goes to the middle. This is a bad situation for Allgaier. He's going to have to hope that his teammate in the 1 is going to help him out. Castle's considering it. Landing to the bottom of the racetrack to help the 7.
10's going to help you here.
I would not do that. That's going to save the 7. That's going to save the 7. That's hard for me to do because that middle looks where you need to be.
And what that did was that brought all the calling cars with the 7 because they're so committed to each other. As soon as the 10 went there, the teammates behind him, they went with him.
All right, now we're 3 wide. Creed's sitting there waiting for help. He's looking at the bottom in the middle, waiting for help. Somebody come help me. Hopefully it's his teammate, the 21.
He's got to recognize that that's his teammate and get up there and try to get a little bit of pull from him. Side draft that group on the outside, trying to slow him down a little bit and then pick your teammate up. Instead, he went to the bottom. Look at Noah Gregson making a move to the bottom. Now he's going to have a push from Creed.
Alfredo trying to side draft the 23-year-old from Richfield, Connecticut, running up front for quite a few laps in the 23. Now trying to surge back ahead using that high line and a little bit of help from Riley Herbst as there's just 5 laps to go in this second stage.
This race is flying by.
Parker.
Well, as we watch Anthony Alfredo vie for this lead here, keep an eye on that gap to the cars behind him. The team has been hard on the radio about coaching him about not getting too far out from the cars behind him and allowing them to create that energy. As you see, Noah Gregson is able to get in front of him because the 98 fell far enough behind him. He didn't quite have that energy, and that's something the team has really been on the radio trying to coach him through.
You see they're 3 wide, and as they're 3 wide and they start approaching this car that they're going to lap,
he's on the top of the racetrack. Jeff going to try to force that 9 car to push him. I think Noah will try to move around. That's definitely going to break this little group up.
Now he went to the bottom, yeah.
That was interesting.
So, Junior, as I watch the Junior Motorsports cars and not line up with each other, I question, do you go to the team meetings and teach these guys how to drive on a super speedway because you're one of the best to ever do it?
Well, I never really, I can't really tell them to all work together because I never really liked that myself. I was always selfish and out there for myself, and if I helped, I didn't care who I was helping. I just wanted to go to the front. And that's not the way you win these races today. And so you have to look around what's working. Colleague, what they do is working. You have to look at that and how to make that even better. Take something from the people around you, the competitors around you, and make it better. That's what this whole sport's been about for years.
3 to go.
Yeah, Junior, I'm going to applaud that answer because that's the honest at the best right there. You know, I want him to do it, but I didn't do it. So, but you're right? You have to evolve. You have to chase it. And to your point, I don't mind stealing somebody else's idea if it helps.
Good organization on the inside line. Big push from the 7 to the 2. What's the 2 going to do? He's going to try to help Noah here. All of them very uncomfortable with all that pushing. The car pushing is kind of steering your car around, so it's hard for you to push the guy in front of you as you're getting moved around by the 3rd car.
Anthony Alfredo in that black car on the outside did a great job of side drafting. The 7 slowed him down. Riley Herbst now coming to try to help that outside line. Noah's way out right here. He's going to have to really protect.
Yeah, they didn't run up on him as quick as I thought they might, Jeff. I expected the same thing I think you did as far as Noah being a sitting duck there, but
Riding with Riley Herbst and the Ford Performance on board.
If Riley could get to this rear bumper, if he could push Alfredo, he would have a massive run.
We got one coming up through the middle there. That's the 26, John Hunter Nemechek, making it 3 wide.
Brandon Brown in the 68 behind him as Noah Gregson dives to the bottom to block a run by the 2 of Sheldon Creed.
John Hunter back to the bottom of the racetrack. A lot of movement here. Got to be careful not to clip bumpers. You can hook each other and spin each other out there with those kind of moves. You got to be really careful.
Here comes Alfredo again in the 23 with a good push from Riley Herbst.
Noah with a nice block. to slow that momentum down. Now back to the bottom to try to break clean, but big push coming right here from Alfredo.
Oh, the two spinning.
2 slides down the backstretch to the inside. And he's going to stay off of the wall. We stay green. He keeps rolling.
And I warned against it the lap before. So much movement between the 2, the 7, everybody right there. So easy to clip bumpers, spin each other out.
Coming back to the line. And Noah Gregson is going to hold off the pack, and he will win stage 2. And that's 11 times that Noah Gregson has won a stage in 2022. Sheldon Creed, who was running up inside the top 3, had gained 8 stage points in stage 1. Looked like he was going to gain more in stage 2, but this big slide down the backstretch relegates him to the back of the pack. And Noah Gregson goes on and grabs the green and white checkered flag in stage 2. NASCAR on USA is brought to you by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Only pay for what you need. Propane, the environmentally friendly energy for everyone. And by Ford, built Ford proud. Spotter's view of this 2.5-mile super speedway, looking down on these cars as they are just inches apart and now headed on their way to pit road. Parker.
Rick, it's been a strong run for Anthony Alfredo at the top left of your screen here, finishing second in stage 2, and the team continued to instruct him about those gaps behind him and how to lead better. It's going to be 4 Goodyear tires and Sunoco fuel and a small air pressure adjustment. Dave?
Sam Meyer in the 1 car was told it was one of those no slide 'em kind of pit stops. That'll be 2 right side tires and Sunoco fuel, Marty.
Riley Herbst finished 3rd in stage 2 there, Dave. They're going to take on 4 Goodyear tires here for him. Oh, actually right sides only for Noah Gregson. It was fuel only for him. He did want to tear off. He said 1 car out there, not sure who it was, seems to be leaking oil. A tear off for Gregson, who wins the race off pit road with that fuel only call.
5 spots gained for Justin Allgaier on a 2-stop strategy, or 2-tire stop strategy. MLB Sunday leadoff on Peacock will have the Los Angeles Dodgers, owners of the best record in baseball, visiting the Miami Marlins. Coverage Sunday at 11:30 a.m. Eastern, only on Peacock. Dodgers 10, Marlins 6 in that 10-inning game. Dave?
Rick, I'm going to go for a Dodgers Daytona Beach connection here. You ready?
I'm ready.
So back in the 40s, Jackie Robinson broke the color barrier with the Brooklyn Dodgers. But did you know a year before that happened, he actually played here in Daytona Beach for the Montreal Royals in the minor leagues. Now, they had a friendly here between the real Dodgers from Brooklyn and the Montreal Royals. Jackie played. That was in March of 1946. And the ballpark now in town where they played is named Jackie Robinson Ballpark in honor of that player who did so many great things, including breaking that color barrier back in 1947. Dodgers at Marlins on Peacock Sunday.
So much history. And Dave, I know that you and Marty drove by that ballpark.
Good looking place.
Let's go back and revisit this wreck. Watch Justin Allgaier. Watch the right side of this car. Watch the fire coming out of the exhaust. That's him out of the gas. His teammate is behind him, Sam Mayer, and still pushing him a little bit. Keep seeing the fire. Keep seeing the fire come out of there. That's him coming off the throttle. So he was trying to avoid that. That was a big wreck, or not a wreck, but an accident for Creed, because he was going to get stage points, and he needs those to get into the playoffs.
Final stage underway. 36 laps remaining here at Daytona for the Xfinity Series. Riley Herbst in that 98 on the outside. Not a lot of help behind him, but Allgaier pushing the 9 of Noah Gregson, and those two break free.
I'd say you got a little bit of time in stage 3 to get yourself in position, but 36 to go, coming to 35 to go. It's time to make the moves. It's time to be finding your way into the lead to control this race from here on out.
You know what that means.
Can you control a race? Take a look at this. Ty Gibbs with a big run in the 54.
He's going to fill that gap right there. Very smart move. If he goes up there and side drafts the 9 ends up getting pushed back into the lead by his teammate. Instead, he says, you know what, I'm going to take this second position right here, wait for an opportunity to try to take the lead at another lap. He's got nobody on the inside right down there to be able to push him by the 9 car.
In order to make that pass work, you got to catch a guy while he's lost momentum. You know there's a gap in front of him. You turn left, and immediately you're thinking, fill that gap, fill that gap. Smart drive by Gibbs.
Yeah, I've seen so many guys in that position not choose to fill the gap. They end up trying to side draft the car in front of them, or the leader in this case, and then losing all those positions gained. Everybody trying to get to the top of the racetrack, it looks like. I love this shot down the back straightaway. It kind of shows us which lines people are diving into.
And Brandon Jones knows that gap is there. He's trying desperately to clear those cars to be able to get into that gap. Now a little push coming from the 8 car.
Oh, the 16. AJ really loose right there. Goes up here and pushes John Hunter. Man, these cars are a handful tonight.
Ryan Sieg right there in the middle.
Oh,
only
contact.
Territory for the 39. No help as Josh Berry in the 8 will go by.
Now the 19 finds a hole right there. He's going to squeeze Ricky Stenhouse. Ricky had to lift a little bit to let Jones in right at the left of your screen.
It's now all these guys in this front group. They're hoping everybody stays to the top. That's exactly what the top 5 or 6 want. They don't want the chaos. They want it calm. They want to get to about 5 laps to go so they can make a move.
Parker.
Well, as we see all these cars go to the top here, and we know Justin Allgaier has talked about the bottom being faster. I've been listening to a lot of the radios, and many drivers are still really loose. That 19 car, Brandon Jones, you saw shoot to the top there. He was really loose coming off the corner, and Justin Allgaier came on the radio under that last caution and talked about he's really loose. And the reason he and the 2 of Sheldon Creed got together was Sheldon got so loose and out of the groove, he couldn't even get away from him. He couldn't get the car back down. So I think a lot of these drivers trying to preserve these cars and go to the top where they feel like they can hold on to it a little better with how loose they are right now.
Well, Junior, you had mentioned just a few moments ago with 36 laps to go that you want to be up front controlling the race. Well, when do you break out of line and hope that you have someone that joins you to try to go up there and take the lead?
This is the biggest problem with the situation you have right now. If you're in the top 3 or 4, you're probably okay to be riding in this position. But if you're in 10th or further back, every lap that clicks by, you're running out of time. You really are. And to sit there and ride in line as time's running out, you feel hopeless. If you move out of line and no one goes with you, you're going further back. So how do you take that risk? You can't take that risk unless you know for sure that you're going to have plenty of help. All these guys at the very back of this line, they ought to be forming up on the inside, trying to make something happen on that inside line. The very back half of this little pack right here, they all need to get down to the bottom, start working together, trying to figure out something to get them toward the front.
There's Daniel Hemrick right there. So Daniel Hemrick, if you watch what happens, there'll be times where this outside lane gets really slow right in the middle of the corner or getting into the corner. They start bumping into each other, and they have to lift. And when that happens, that's when you try to hang a left and try to gain tons of spot and then look for that hole to fill, or attract other people to that bottom and just make that line longer and longer and longer. Now you have force and energy in the bottom line.
I like what I see behind Hemrick. That's Austin Hill. That's a fast race car. You're going to try to get somebody in that inside line. You're going to need some steam, and that 21's got a lot of it.
Josh Berry also behind him. Mike Snyder, we saw the last time he was here that unbelievable wreck down the back straightaway.
That high line staying very organized.
You see right there, that John Hunter, he's on the outside of Mayer.
Yeah, Sam Mayer didn't want to let that happen. If you're going to run the top, you have to make sure to protect your right side quarter panel. And for this, he's going to go all the way back to the lead of that bottom lane, 8 or 10 spots behind.
That is a mistake you just can't make. Yeah. You just cannot give a driver the outside. You got to be against the wall, just not let that be an option. That's a lesson Sam Mayer will learn. He's learned the hard way, but here comes some cars. He's hoping they can help him.
Everybody that's running in that outside line is waiting on the guy in front of them to be asleep and leave that outside, leave enough room on that outside for that to happen. That's what they're all waiting on. They're going to sit right here until somebody isn't paying attention, and they're going to jump on that outside and do what they just did to Sam Mayer.
Let's listen to the 9 team and what they're saying up front.
Forget with the 7. Tell him as the 54 goes to the bottom to pick me back up after I side draft him. And then we'll be 1-2. Assuming the 98 will stay with us. Try and chuck the 54.
Oh, the 98's got a problem. Flat tire. He's spinning out.
Sliding through the grass at over 185 miles an hour. Caution comes out.
Looked like the left rear tire went down, Rick.
Wide-eyed Riley Herbst.
But we didn't
What
hit anything, we'll be all right.
a ride that
Close
was.
out here, so just get her rolling. What happened there?
See if he can get out of here. We had a lot of rain. It's going to be tough to get out of this
grass.
Get it
Four
rolling.
tires on the wall here, guys.
Get a little momentum going here in this grass. I think the flat tire, if
Don't
he's got a
let
flat
up.
left
Don't
rear,
let
actually might
up.
help him get out of this
Don't
wet
let up.
grass.
Little traction.
Yeah.
You hear his spotter, Tim Fedewa. Don't let up, don't let up. Once that thing got rolling, Tim knows, do not slow down. Let's see what happened here.
Yeah, you see him in line. I think he's the 4th car right there in line. Some movement back and forth. I thought they was just being pushed by the 26, but then he pulls out of line, does a nice job of, you know, you don't want to lose control, but if you're going to go anywhere, the grass is the safest place. And instead of up in traffic, took a nice long slide. Luckily, nothing dug in. As Dale pointed out, a lot of rain. You see the water spraying off that wet grass. And this is the scariest part. When you go over those access roads, sometimes you can see them kind of hop up in the air and land on the other side. I mean, really, I don't see much damage at all to this car. Right there could have been bad.
Yeah, the splitter digging into the ground right there. That splitter is my biggest concern, too. I think that's what he's going to remark about, Steve, when he goes across those access roads. The splitters usually catch. But he's recognizing the issue right there. I was thinking he might be able to get it slowed down. But it's driving like a forklift at that point. It actually feels like it's got casters on the back as it's trying to move around. You're trying to keep up with it. Let's watch the steering wheel. Watch the steering wheel as all this is starting to happen. Watch his eyes, too. Look how big his eyes get.
Oh, you hear it. You heard the tire come apart.
And here.
The grass flying around in there. It's crazy what happens.
So he knew something was going on. His hands started moving. And then when he got out of line, you heard the tire come apart.
Free pass is going to go to the 2 of Sheldon Creed. And we're going to see a few takers here on pit road. Grass all across the front side of the 98 of Riley Herbst. A wild ride running in the 4th spot. Left rear tire goes down. And the 98 of Riley Herbst for a ride through the wet grass at Daytona. The official app of NASCAR Tracks lets you stay up to date on the latest race and event information from all of your favorite tracks. Search NASCAR Tracks in the App Store to download for free, and you can start using today. Before the green flag flies, once again with just 25 laps to go, we'll take a look at the Toyota driver updates, and 3 of the Toyotas inside the top 10 right now, with Ty Gibbs leading the way in 2nd, John Hunter Nemechek in 4th, Brandon Jones in the 8th position. Parker.
Rick, a really strong run for John Hunter Nemechek in that Sam Hunt Racing Toyota. His first Super Speedway race with them. He told me before the race he wasn't exactly sure what they'd have compared to what he's been in the Gibbs cars. And after the first stage, it didn't sound like he was too happy. But he recently came on the radio and said this car has come to life as it sees the front in 4th place. Has nothing to lose. Wants to go and get that win here at Daytona.
Nothing to lose. Never. I don't know. It doesn't drive a lot of confidence. That concerns me more than a confidence builder.
John Hunter Nemechek full-time in the Truck Series, which, by the way, they just mentioned this week that the new title sponsor for the Truck Series is going back to Craftsman, who was many years the title sponsor of the Truck Series.
Everybody's got to love that, right? That's easy to get used to.
Once
Rick,
again,
you roll right off your tongue.
Yeah, Rick.
For over a decade, I called the
Over
Craftsman
a
Truck
decade?
Series.
What?
Yes.
Man,
He's old.
he's long, long time.
Let's check in on the 10 with Dave Burns.
Another Craftsman Truck Series, person from way back when. Appreciate that. So Landon Castle running in 5th. Think about his world here at Daytona. Remember, he used to run in cars that didn't exactly run up front near the end of the race. So he would wait around in the back, and he would hope for a top 15 finish or so just by surviving the day. He said, man, I have to flip my thinking on what I'm doing here now. I'm running up front with colleague racing cars, and I've just got to be more aggressive from the start of the race. He's pretty much run at the front of the pack all day. He wants to finish there, too. Comes into tonight just 50 points above the cut line to make the playoffs. Landon Castle in the 10 could be a factor since he's flipped his thinking here at Daytona.
Thanks, Dave. So this race started on Friday, and it is currently Saturday here on the East Coast. And later today on NBC, Countdown to Green at 7 o'clock, again streaming also live on Peacock. And then at 7:30, Cup Series Racing, NBC and Peacock. And NASCAR America Post Race Show wraps everything up at 11 o'clock on Peacock as well as the NBC Sports app.
In that exchange, Riley Herbst did lose a lap. Had to come slow down the pit road with those flat tires. Only car 1 lap down, though, so a yellow would give Riley his lap back.
And it's got to be frustrating running 4th. Tire goes down, and now you look at the field in front of you.
It's frustrating, but you're also so relieved to still be out there competing with a car capable of winning. You know, that's what you feel after a spin like that through the grass.
Field lined up. Noah Gregson in the 9, the 54 of Ty Gibbs making up row 1. Gregson has his teammate Justin Allgaier on the inside right behind him.
That's a good launch. And the 7 right in the back bumper of that 9 to push the 9 clear. But look at that outside line. They're together as well. And here they come back with a run of their own.
And NASCAR will let them lock bumpers until they get to turn 2 on a restart. Once they get over there, they're going to have to get away from each other.
Already separated, and that high line, not a lot of help after the top 2.
Not at all. If that inside stays together, they should, a couple at least, clear this 54. It's like 3, maybe 4 cars now. The 26 is to the back of Gibbs. Gibbs should start developing some momentum here.
2 collie cars you see right there. That was AJ Allmendinger and the 14 car of Haley on the outside. We've not seen them much today. Haven't led many laps like we normally see, but teamwork right there, getting to the top quickly.
That is why Haley is such a great restrictor plate racer, super speedway racer. He knew the 54 and 26 were going to be the cars with the momentum. Went right up in front of them. Didn't care what everybody in front of him did. He brought everybody with him to the top of that racetrack. If he hadn't have done that, the 54 is coming right back by him on the right side. He knows what's coming. He's a smart little racer.
Jeff Burton pulling away on the bottom now in that 27, trying to side draft before he gets into the turn. Sam Mayer behind him.
Riley Herbst in the middle of this mess. Not really what he needs to be doing right here. He just needs a caution, and he will be back in the lead lap. I wouldn't want my driver in the middle of this mess right now.
What if Riley
Herbst
works his way up to the front and gets himself unlapped by leading?
But he still needs the yellow, and the result's the same. He's going to be the last car out there, basically, with no one a lap down. So I agree with Jeff. I think this is the time where you're better off just being in the back. No reason. You don't want to be in the yellow that you need.
Jeff Burton now put in the middle is the one car in the 11. Oh, 11 a little bit loose right there. Into 3. Jeff's going to the back here. All those guys on the inside.
Yeah, it looks like he's backing up right now.
Oh, he found him a little spot to jump into in that outside line behind Sieg.
Put his hand out the window.
It's like, thank you.
Yeah, somebody let him in.
Now this inside line's fading a little bit. Not a lot of organization. They're not tight together. Car length between each car. Everybody outside line, bumper to bumper, pushing hard. But you got some good cars down there. I see those RCR cars. I keep my eye on them. I think they're some of the strongest cars in the field. And they are working together. There's only 2 of them. They have stuck together this entire race. I feel like they're going to play a role in the finish here.
You saw in the background a little flash of light there. Is coming up on 20 laps to go here at Daytona for this Xfinity Series race. Again, there are 3 races remaining that will be run until the playoffs begin for the Xfinity Series, but a playoff spot available if you win and you're not already in. Noah Gragson out in front.
This is supersonic Wi-Fi from Xfinity. It's fast. So gaming with your niece has never felt more intense. Hey, what does this button do?
No, don't!
Welcome to the fastest internet on the largest gig speed network.
Are you crying, Uncle Ed?
No! A little.
Only from Xfinity. Unbeatable internet made to do anything, so you can do anything.
Ed Vance here, and I'm at my favorite place again.
Sorry, did you say your name is Ed Vance?
That's me.
Like advance?
Crazy, right? And it just so happens he knows everything in advance.
Oh, you know the future? Did you know I needed 10W30?
No. I just know everything here in Advance Auto Parts, like where the 10W30 is.
So you don't know what I'll do next?
Actually, I do. You will be going to the oil aisle.
He's good.
He's Advance.
I spent a lot of time here.
He's here a lot.
This is how we advance.
At USAA, we've been called too exclusive because we were created for officers. But as we've evolved with the military, we've grown to serve all who've honorably served, no matter their rank or when they were in. A Marine just out of boot camp, or a petty officer from 73, and even his kids and their kids. USAA is made for all who honorably served and their eligible family members. Are we still exclusive? Absolutely. And that's exactly why you should join.
In the future, everything will be powered by renewable energy. But it's not as easy as flipping a switch. It's a long road, requiring decades of time and trillions of dollars. But what if there was a better direction on the path to zero carbon emissions? An energy source that's available right now, that's affordable, plentiful, and environmentally friendly. There is, and it's propane. Get the facts at propane.com/now.
There's a reputation on the track, being built this very minute. One that embraces the crazy.
Oh my goodness!
The fast. And the unpredictable. That looks into the eye of the competition and screams, bring it. Loud enough so the whole world will see it coming. I am the NASCAR Xfinity Series. I am NASCAR.
Multiple cars involved in this caution. The 6th one of the night, and 13th in position or points for the playoffs. Sheldon Creed involved. Huge for Sheldon. That's Joe Graff Jr. in the 07. Safety crew getting to him.
And we're thankful to see these guys moving because this was a hard shot into the passenger side of the 2 car. Look at the rear end, how it's twisted around. This whole car is folded up from that impact in the passenger door.
We saw Sheldon Creed was already out of the car. John Hunter Nemechek involved in this. Let's take a look at what happened.
Brandon Brown helping this 26 car through the middle. Looks like he gets loose before Brandon. Brandon maybe no contact at all. Contact with the 2. The 2's going to go back across the racetrack into the outside wall. And there's hard contact in the passenger door of the 2. Let's see that. So the 2's going to shoot back across the racetrack here. Right in front of traffic. Big contact.
Joe Graff Jr. in the 07 hit him.
Look at how far in it's pushed the door bars. And then that was crazy how it's folded that car up like that.
You saw John Hunter Nemechek. He was loose before the 68 car got into the back of him with Brandon Brown. And now Creed back up the racetrack, and you said it, just a hard impact in that right side.
It buckled the roof on the 2 car.
Roof, what? That is just a hard impact on that right side. And Creed knows, this isn't going to be good. Boom, look at that roof.
Look how it pulled the car apart. Like the rear end sort of trying to go out the back end of the car. Just violent.
And Sheldon had a really good race going. Had a good opportunity. Watch this right here. Got good stage points in the first part of the race. Look at the right side of that car. He got good stage points in the first stage. Was in good position at the second stage. Had a problem. Got spun. Didn't get any stage points there. And now this wreck. So he was so close to where he needed to be to try to make these playoffs. Now he's got some work to do.
Sheldon Creed came in 39 points behind Ryan Sieg when the race started, had got all the way up to inside 15 points, and now this happens. Next on USA, following our Xfinity Series coverage, a first look at the new NASCAR docuseries Race for the Championship, which will premiere Thursday on USA. After that sneak peek, it's movie night on USA with Dr. Strange. So with what happened with Creed and the wreck on the backstretch, I had mentioned that coming in he was 39 points back from Ryan Sieg. Then he had worked his way up after a good first stage to inside of 15 points within that 12th spot. But with the accident and where he is relegated back in 36th, he will be 54 points out. Marty.
Let's chat with Luke Lambert. His driver Noah Gregson's been the dominant driver tonight. You guys have played nice with teammates on restarts here with Justin Allgaier behind you. Do you expect that to continue with what's going to be like 12 to go?
Yeah, I think so. You know, Junior Motorsports brought some really fast Camaros here, so it's been really nice working with our teammates. Everybody's done a nice job. It's going to get really intense right here, so we got to do the right thing on this restart. Try to get teamed up with those guys because the Collie guys are going to try to team up, and we got some strong guys working against us. So I feel good about our shot. Noah's been doing a great job, so we'll see how it goes.
How nerve-wracking is it with 12 to go, knowing how good the car has been, but now it's out of your hands?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing about these speedway races, right? It's anybody's game here in the closing hours. So I feel good about it. I think we've got the strongest car, and I think we've got the best driver, so we'll see what happens.
And a lot on the line here, Rick. You showed the playoff standings just a second ago. If Noah Gragson can pull this off, he would pass Ty Gibbs with more playoff points than the 54. Believe me, he's aware of that fact.
Yeah, that would put him at 31 playoff points to Ty Gibbs's 29 playoff points. Even with the 5 wins, Ty Gibbs has only accumulated 29 playoff points. So it could be a big race for Noah Gragson.
So the question here is, if you're Noah Gragson, do you slow roll the start to let the 7 down in front of you? Is it that important to have a teammate lined up with you?
Well, look at the mess. So you got the 7 car, a teammate, the 9 car, obviously Noah, and then on the outside, the 1 car teammate, and then behind him, the Collie cars, the 16, the 11, the 14, and now the 10 behind the 54. So a lot of teammates, but all in different lines. How are they going to try to get in the same line to help each other?
And we just saw the dominance of Chevrolet and how well they have done at super speedways. And you look at the running order.
Ty Gibbs is looking around going, man,
wait a minute.
Jones, Brandon, you're just back there a little bit. Come up here and hang out with me.
2013, last time a Joe Gibbs racing car won at Daytona in the Xfinity Series.
Field in the hands of Noah Gragson in the 9. He's on the inside. Allgaier on the outside. 13 laps to go.
Pretty good organization in that outside line. It's not going to be a given for this 9 car to get clear, but he's got a good push from AJ.
Now, Gragson way out in front.
Side by side right behind him. That outside line moving forward. Here comes a push from the 1 car into the back of the 7. They're going to have a run on this 9. Do they take care of him? Do they take care of him? Oh, man.
Remember that. Justin Allgaier had a chance to drive underneath his teammate and would have had help behind him. Let's see how that works out for him.
Away off of him is the 1.
Sam Mayer now in 3rd place. Oh, a little contact back there in that outside line. 11 gets a little moved around on the nose of the 39 of Sieg.
That 21 went to the middle, and that put one of the Colin cars, Haley, on the inside line, so now they're separated.
And look once again how that 21 with a little bit of damage has come to the front. Austin Hill continuing to be so successful at these super speedway races.
Stenhouse pushing that 21 hard here on the inside line. AJ's hoping that momentum's going to come up there and help him. Here comes a 21.
Gregson all the way down to block.
You might want to stay down there. A lot of organization on that inside line.
Up here, get the 7. He drug to 16.
Seven's not there yet.
Do you leave your teammates?
You do, but they're not, because they're not there. They're 3 car lengths back. You're not leaving them. You're taking care of yourself by getting the energy off that inside line, or else they're going by you.
Look at this 21 car of Austin Hill on the bottom. Look at that damage on the right front. That's not the car you want leading that line.
Trying to come over and side draft. Coming up on 10 laps to go at Daytona.
A lot of cars going into that high line.
I think some of that's just the speed. That 21 car with the damage, it's just really hard for him to be the lead car. And Ty Gibbs at the very back. We talked about him. Look at all the spots he's losing right now.
He's on the inside of 3 wide as the top 4 running that high line, and then it's 2 by 2. The low line being led by Austin Hill. Parker.
John Hunter Nemechek released from the infield care center. What happened there on that wreck off of 2?
I'm not quite sure. All of a sudden, I was looking at the inside wall, so I haven't seen a replay, but I think I got hooked in the left rear. I'm not sure if somebody came off the line or got tight, but hooked me, spun us. Sucks. I hate it for Sam Hunt and everyone on that whole team. They brought a decent car tonight. Thank you to Toyota and the Freedom 13 Foundation. It was an honor to carry 13 lives with us. A year to the day today. So excited to be able to carry that, 16. And such an honor. So reckon.
16 around, the 7 tucked in behind him, and they continue to spin. The caution comes out. They're going to slide back in front of the field. Josh Berry involved, Sam Mayer involved. Junior Motorsports, who had been running so strong. 2 cars right here, and we saw the 7 of Allgaier stuck behind the 16. So 3 of the Junior Motorsports cars involved in this wreck.
And all of this is toward the front of this pack. We see so many times that's where the wreck starts. Sam Mayer is having a good night. A lot of damage to his car. Josh Berry, see the left front tire flat, right rear tire flat.
Steering wheel coming off for the 1 of Sam Mayer. His night will be done. Flat left front on the 16 of A.J. Allmendinger.
We were listening and chatting with John Hunter Nemechek, who is out of the race when this all took place. You see the sparks in the right front tearing apart that right front fender of Josh Berry.
Josh trying to get back to pit road before he goes a lap down. So it's sort of a sacrifice. Do you tear the car up or do you take the lap down? With 8 laps to go, 6, 7 laps to go, we'll get the green flag. It'll be inside 5 laps to go unless they red flag this thing.
And some really good cars in this wreck. Some cars that we expected to be coming to the checkered battling for the win. It's going to really shake this field up in regard to who is leading this race with only a few laps left. Here we
go.
go.
How this happened here. 16's loose right there through the travel. He's getting pushed. Everybody's pushing, right? It's not any one person's fault. You can see all of them getting turned around off the nose of each other coming down here through the front straightaway.
Myatt Snyder also involved in the 31.
You can see AJ right there wrecking loose.
And that's the tri-oval is where your car is really the lightest of this entire racetrack. You're turning, but it's not a lot of banking. It's not a lot of force. So right here, just See that car wiggling around, the 7 in the back of him, and around they go. And look at all the potential winners involved in this. It's going to be an opportunity. Something bad happens to some, it creates an opportunity for others. We've seen it so many times at this racetrack.
It's put Daniel Hemrick up into the 2nd position now. Again, only 1 win for the reigning Xfinity Series champion. Coming up on 7 to go. There's the damage to Josh Berry's number 8. Allgaier, Allmendinger now on pit road, but it's Gragson, the only Junior Motorsports car that wasn't involved in this incident.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys as these laps are clicking off, 7 to go now, that are, you know, sitting around 10th to 15th place. Ty Gibbs in 11th, Herbst in 14th, Brandon Jones in 15th, Castle back in 16th. They are ready for this race to get started. They want as many laps as possible to try to figure out a way to get themselves toward the front. With each lap that clicks off the board, more and more difficult for them to do that.
Sheldon Creed involved in an earlier incident. Talked with Parker just moments ago.
Sheldon Creed released from the infield care center here at Daytona, and you're involved with that wreck with John Hunter off of turn 2 and had a really hard hit. Was that as hard as it looks from the inside?
Yeah, that's probably the biggest one I've taken or close to it. I'm not really sure what happened. I don't know if the 68 was pushing the 26 hard there or what, and kind of got him sideways and got him in front of me. And then when I started going back up the track, I knew I was in trouble there, and it was going to be unlikely to not get hit. And that was really big. So glad Joe and I are able to walk away, and also John Hunter. And man, RCR built us a really great race car, and our ECR motor was great. Bummed for all the wheeling guys that are here that came support us. What a great race car, run up front. I want to watch the replay when the 7 got me. I don't know if that was just a racing deal or what, but I can't ask for more than that. You know, a fast race car, and I just got to go do my job the best. But I guess that makes the next 3 weeks pretty simple. I just got to go win.
Glad you're okay.
Thank you.
And Sheldon was referencing the earlier spin when the 7 got into him. I know there was some communication on the radio about, you know, if I get back to him, I want to let him know I didn't appreciate it. But then I think he's now thinking back and going, I wonder if it was actually the 7's fault that did that.
Well said, right? I mean, definitely in the heat of the moment behind the wheel, he had one opinion, but then, you know, right there, he left it open to interpretation. He wants to see it, the replay himself, and then we'll see where his opinion falls.
7 cautions here at Daytona, and just 7 laps to go. It will be a sprint to the finish. Who will be able to stay up front? Right now, it's Noah Gragson leading. Big day later on. Countdown to green at 7 o'clock Saturday nights. And that will be on NBC and Peacock, 7:30 Cup Series Racing. And NASCAR America post-race show on Peacock and the NBC Sports app. That's at 11 o'clock. And we'll wrap up all of the weekend's action. Once again, another caution. It was 7 cautions now. This is the most recent. A.J. Allmendinger running right up in 2nd.
Yeah, he's really loose at the start-finish line. It's very hard to tell from this angle. It looks like to me the 7 was into the back of him, or he had some kind of problem, and that got the 7 into the back of him.
If you look at this view, the left side headlight is out on the 7. When you push guys in the back, you try not to push them in the left rear. That tends to spin them out. I spun you out at Talladega one time that way, Jeff. And when you're pushing guys, you want to be on the right side of that bumper, not the left side. And I think the 7 obviously hits him in the left rear quarter panel, and then there's a movement to the right by the 7, and that drags the back of the 16 car around and loses traction in the rear end, and he starts tank slapping.
And the tri-oval is the worst place for that, because then the banking, the car is loaded in the racetrack. It's way more downforce than it. It does not get loaded like it does in the corners on the trial wheel. So when you're pushing somebody in the incorrect way, it can really just whip them around really quickly.
Junior just admitted that he wrecked you, and you didn't even respond to that, Jeff.
Well, I wrecked him once too. So we were.
Okay.
You did?
Yeah, at Homestead. I blamed it on the sun.
I don't remember that.
I blamed it on the sun. We get past midnight, crazy stuff starts happening in the booth, guys.
There's truth serum up here. Truth
I'm
serum.
not admitting to anything.
Yeah. I blamed it on the sun. Getting ready to come back to 4 laps to go from Daytona.
Got to look at this top 10 here. A lot of names up here. A lot of guys haven't won.
Hemrick, Brandon Brown, Ryan Sieg, all trying to win their way into the playoffs. As we see now, a big push on that inside line. Gregson getting help from Brandon Brown.
But no help behind Brandon Brown. Let's see what this outside line can do. No help behind the 39 of Sieg either, though.
Sieg is together with the 11. He's going to push this car right by the 9 on the back straightaway.
And now they've gotten separated. What does the 11 do? What does Hemrick do? What line does he go? Look at the outside line, the 21
Austin
car.
Hill to the high side. And Ryan Sieg falling back.
Big run coming right here. Which lane does Hemrick try to block?
He got just in front of the 21 and then decided to come back down in front of Noah Gregson.
Big help from the 23 into the back of the 21. Hemrick goes up there to block that.
3 laps of racing to go.
It's been a really hard
big move. Hill to the bottom. The side draft's coming. Can the 11 slow him down? He can't. Hill's clear.
But look at the damage on the front of that car. He is a sitting duck right here. Oh, Hemrick with a big block.
Hill out front now. Anthony Alfredo has moved back up to second.
Oh, Anthony wanted to go to the bottom, but he knew it wasn't clear of Hemrick.
And all this behind, look at the, what is that? That's the 10 car in the wall.
He's got a right front tire flat.
And
we're wrecking.
spinning.
The 11 of Hemrick goes around. They wreck. Brandon Jones also involved. Blaine Perkins in the 0-2.
Everybody's wrecking. Man. There are like 3 different wrecks right there in that whole series
David
on the
Starr
front straightaway.
In the 0-8, you see damage to the 7 of Allgaier. There's Starr. Anthony Alfredo caught up. Brandon Jones in the 19.
I think Brandon was part of the second wreck. This car right here had a right front tire go down. He got out of the pack smartly. Jeff Burton right there stuck in the grass. Splitters digging into the...
So much rain this afternoon, and you can see the water.
The yard guy's like, come on.
He's about 2 car lengths from pit road. If he can get there, he'll get this car rolling.
And he has to stop.
You might want to try reverse.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah, we're stuck now.
There's Jeff Burton in the 27, trying to get out of the grass.
So the 11 gets spun around first. Let's watch the 10. Going to see he's got an issue. He gets run into the wall, gets loose, corrects into the wall. Wow. Damage on the 27 right there. Boom. Don't know if Jeff got into him first or what.
Yes, he got into the back of the 14.
He's loose right there. Yeah. He got sideways before Jeff got there. These cars are a handful, man. They're so surprised at the balance and the slick conditions.
But this is just the start of it, to your point, Junior, because now you see the smoke.
There's
there was like 3 wrecks, right?
There's a wreck.
Yeah, my goodness. What? So it starts there, the 27 that has damage, but the 11, how does the 11 get turned around? Right here.
Trying to block. Just turned down on the 9, trying to put a block on.
Yeah, Noah's there. I mean, there's nothing Noah could do. He's down along the double yellow line, and then the 19 gets turned around.
Everybody's good, and then the 19 and the 08 get together, then the 27 and the 7 get together.
It's a big hit for the 08 going back across the racetrack like that.
Everyone trying to avoid. Saw Sage Karam in the 44.
Watch these cars coming down pit road. Trying to miss the wreck. The rule is you can go down pit road, and there's a car coming onto pit road having problems. They're having to split him. Wow, it's just so what's so frustrating about Daytona and Talladega. Big hit right there, just minding your own business. Next thing you know, you're in the wall.
Saw Riley Herbst get tagged. There's Myatt Snyder coming back into this one.
Good job getting slowed down right there.
Let's watch how it happens again. The 11 goes up the racetrack to try to get in front of the 23. Now comes back down. A little bit of contact there in the left rear. Noah's on the inside.
You know, at that point, you know, I mean, there's nothing really Noah can do, right? He can't lift. He's wide open. He's on the double yellow line. I think you're trying to just squeeze that guy down. Here we're riding on board with Riley Herbst right here. This would be a good view of it all. So here's the 10 up into the wall. But just keep looking up ahead because there's, well, we're going to switch to the rear bumper because we're looking at the accident.
And he gets tagged right here.
Yeah.
And you did a good job there.
I'm going straight. That's such a relief.
Yeah.
Chip Burton, front of the car is over the line, so they've got to back him up before they do any work.
Jeb and this team, they just have not been able to catch a break last couple months.
There you see the list of drivers involved.
See Alfredo out of his car.
Yeah, he was.
What a race he had going too. He was running up front most of the night. Remember, the 10, a tire going down, the 11 into the wall. Chain reaction. Cars getting caught up in this. Riley Herbst will be back for the restart and overtime. Once again, looking at the playoff standings, 3 races to go before the playoffs start, and Daniel Hemrick involved in this, Anthony Alfredo. You see the points and how they are being affected. Riley Herbst involved in this. You would think he has a comfortable lead at 157 points, but when you continue to get involved in incidents like this with 3 races still to go, you'd like to be locked in with a win, but not quite yet. Parker.
Well, Rick, let's catch up with Austin Hill's crew chief Andy Street here. You guys got damaged earlier in the race and now have fought back to be the leader. How did you pull this off?
That pit crew did a phenomenal job getting that car repaired and back out front. I'm telling you, it was a bonehead move on my part. I messed up on the timing leaving pit road and basically caused all that whole incident, but the crew has really rebounded. I mean, I'm telling you, I can't say enough about this crew. They repaired this car and it's got some speed to it. So
you won here in the spring by making a late move. Now you're the leader. Where do you guys want to be on that last lap? What have you discussed?
Derek and Austin's been coming up with a plan on the radio, talking back and forth. Hope we can keep it out front like we did at the end here.
That's the plan, Dave. Keep it out front. Sounds simple.
Well, Parker, let's just peek into their world with a little radio chatter between Austin Hill and his spotter, Derek Nealon.
So you do what you think you need to do, but it seems like these starts, the bottom row has been getting the good jump, and the bottom lane or the top lane surges when they get to about the 3/4 mark of 1 and 2, and they're the ones able to carry the momentum off of 2 and down the back to clear like the first 2 rows on the bottom.
Bottom row getting the good jump. And Junior, I mean, Austin Hill is very good at this. He's proven that this year, but Derek Nealon has been giving him spot on information. What do you think about that bottom row talk?
I think that's an interesting Interesting way to view it. It's absolutely what has happened in the past, but I wonder if the outside's getting the surge off of 2 because of their side draft ability in 1 and 2 of that inside lane. So if the inside lane surges ahead, the outside lane then can side draft and organize, and they are going to be able to surge off of 2. Now, if the outside is the control car, let's see how that works out. Will they continue to have that momentum off of 2? I'm not so sure.
Well, the other thing that matters a great deal is who's pushing. And so if you look at the 9 car, he's got that 54 car of Ty Gibbs. We've seen good speed with him all night long. The outside lane got Brandon Brown pushing. So that I would rather have that 54. For what I've seen so far tonight, that 54 has a lot of speed. I'd like him pushing me. So I kind of like where Noah is right now.
Are they good enough friends? I mean, I'm asking the question genuinely. Are they good enough friends for Noah to depend on that 54?
Well, I think Ty Gibbs, it's in his best interest to push the 9 the best he can, because that gives him the best chance to win this race.
Coming up on 2 laps to go in this race, will this be the final restart? We're about to find out. Austin Hill, the control car in the 21. A little damage to the right front. Noah Gregson in the 9.
Oh, big contact. That's going to hurt that inside line. The 54 is way back there, so now they're organized on the outside. Noah is all by himself.
Brandon Brown trying to stay behind the 21.
Noah's trying hard to side draft to slow that 21 down. He's doing a pretty good job there. Help's got to get there quick, though. Big run coming from the top. Gibbs got there. Now the 14 behind the 54. Haley behind the 54. That's a big deal. Now the Haley in the middle.
Oh!
Contact
Brandon Brown into the wall. The 14 goes around as well. Ty Gibbs also. The big one happening again. The caution comes out.
Yeah, I feel like that started with the 98 of Riley Earps trying to push. We'll have to go back and watch it.
Yeah, the 68 looked like he got a little out of shape there.
Ricky Stenhouse Jr. in the 48. A lot of damage to the front end.
That was just about everybody left.
Ryan Sieg stuck in the grass. There's Myatt Snyder again in the 31. This time Josh Williams in the 5 involved. Alex LeBay in the 36.
So much damage tonight. I have to. The 68 of Brandon Brown sitting there with a chance to win this race. Now a tore up car.
Cesar Baccarella, you see him stopped in the grass there in that 45.
Splitter. A lot of rear damage.
That's Josh Williams right there in the 5 car.
Yeah, you see the wheels turning, but they're not actually touching the racetrack. That's how much banking you have here.
Ty Gibbs just about made it through there, got clipped at the last second. He's going to come down and get some tires. Doesn't see a whole bunch of damage on that car. Pretty fortunate.
He's going to stay on the lead lap, and there's not that many cars that are on the lead lap. So if this car doesn't have damage, he's not done. Let's see where it happens. Everybody's pushing each other on the outside lane right there. We'll get another shot, but I just feel like that 98 car who was in that previous wreck, and he was started up toward the front, just seemed like a lot of pushing going on.
So this is back bumper, and he's being pushed.
Keep that pusher there.
Stenhouse.
Tell that guy you're pushing here, push him along.
Actually, when the contact's happening, it's about a half a foot between Stenhouse and the 98. So Stenhouse lets him go right here. The 98 gets in the back of the 68, and it's just enough to turn him. You would hit that, you know, and Riley will get out and say, man, I pushed somebody just like that 10 times in this race, and nothing happened. But it really matters is how that 68 car's loaded up, where he's got the steering wheel, what he does with the steering wheel when he gets pushed.
Well, Justin Haley got hooked in the right rear. Fortunately, he didn't have a big impact. A lot of times the car gets hooked in the right rear like that, it turns you immediately head on in the wall.
I mean, I think it wrecked every car from 3rd to 15th.
Oh, my goodness. See right here, that push right there, and that started it.
And we've seen that push all night long, not start wrecks. But late in this race, maybe they're just a little harder. And you can't be moving from left to right when you make contact with somebody. If you're moving left to right or right to left and you make contact, you're going to steer that car that you're pushing.
And from that shot right there, you can see the 68 car left, right, and then around he went. But the reason he's going left to right is because he's getting pushed. And, you know, it just gets, you got to kind of keep up with the steering wheel. We see this. Pushing is required to be successful. It just is. But if everything's not just right, this is the result.
There's Josh Williams in the 5. Ryan Sieg being towed away in the 39.
When I see the haulers leave Junior Motorsports and they're headed to Talladega and Daytona, I just assume that those cars aren't coming back. You know, this is just the nature of this type of racing. You sort of almost build it into your budget that you ain't gonna bring these body panels back and be able to use them again.
Price of metal always goes up a few percentage points after these races.
Justin Haley there in the 14.
It's just, you know, if you're sitting at home and you're like, well, why do they run into each other? Why do they block? Why do they do that? If you don't, you can't win. Like, it just, you have to push, you have to block, you have to do these things in order to win. Now, you have to do them correctly, and you have to do them at the right time. You have to judge what amount of risk do I need to give based on how many laps are left to go, etc. But, you know, this is just a very difficult position, you know, for every driver to be in. It's just no way to ride around and win these races.
And why do we keep coming back? Because of victory lane. Because if we end up there, even if we wreck 3 cars and 1 makes it to victory lane, we're still happy. And that's what all these drivers want. They want to get to victory lane. They're going to show up every time.
There has been a lot of carnage, but that, as you mentioned, that's where they want to end up, in victory lane and hoist that trophy at the end of the night. But there has been crash after crash, 9 cautions already. It all started off with Sammy Smith in the 18, getting a little bit loose coming out of turn 4 into the inside wall.
And we had a left rear tire here flat on Riley Herbst's car as he goes down the racetrack, trying to control it, spins through the grass, able to get going, get that issue fixed. Did a good job staying off the fence.
See right here, a little bit of contact. John Hunter Nemechek around into Creed. Creed out of control, turns right, big impact with Joe Graff Jr.
Yeah, then A.J. Allmendinger in the 7 of Allgaier. Allmendinger loose, the 7 right on his bumper. He spins around out of the tri-oval. A couple other cars collected. And then this big wreck right here with Hemrick getting turned around. There's like 2 or 3 wrecks all included in one here.
And then this accident we just saw happen. A lot of cars collected on the back straightaway. A couple of them made it through there. A.J. Allmendinger, you see him zipping through in the clear and now sitting in the top 5 with an opportunity now to win.
And look at the opportunities that have been created. Allmendinger's got himself back up in the front. Top 3, Timmy Hill, Jeremy Clemens. Look at these guys that have a chance to win. Sage Karam, Landon Castle. We saw him in a wreck a little while ago. Jesse Iwuji, Ryan Vargas. There's opportunity right here for some of these guys. And they will be going for it. They'll be doing everything they can to steal the win here tonight.
Matt Mills also running inside the top 10 as we get ready for the restart and another attempt at overtime presented by Credit One Bank. Party.
Boy, Rick, I had to do a double take and then look again because all the 3 of the regular Collet cars, 2 of which, well, all 3 have been in accidents today, really, when you think about it, are in the top 11. How in the world is that the case, Chris Rice?
The guy sitting beside me says, I love having 4 cars here. And somebody just texted me and said, I don't know how you do it with all the emotions, but, man, great race car drivers. AJ got wrecked by the 7 car down the front straightaway. Don't really understand why, but everybody's doing a good job. Very proud of everybody at Collet Racing. We hadn't had fast cars tonight. We got to go to work. We're in trouble. We got to go to work.
Yeah, so let's talk about AJ's position here, being in 3rd. I mean, he's run up front all night long, but how damaged is the car, and could he still win it?
He can still win it. It's not that damaged. The hood was blown up a little bit, but everybody on the Action Industries car done a good job getting it all taped up, and AJ is fired up right now. I bet everybody heard him on the radio, so it's going to be a lot of fun.
Dave, it is crazy. All three of the regular Kaulig cars have been involved in a wreck of some sort tonight, but here they are, all in the top 11.
And leader Austin Hill, looking stationary in the 21 car now, has been sloshing it back and forth a little bit. He said to his team, the fuel pressure's acting a little funky. It was down around 4, then it was up around 9 and 10. They said you should have plenty of fuel, so we'll keep an eye on that. Meanwhile, talking about drivers who have made their way toward the front, Jeremy Clements currently scored in 4th. He waited a couple of restarts ago, did not move forward, and now is in a position to possibly win this race from where he restarts. Parker.
And Dave, another driver having a great run here in the top 10 is that 44 of Sage Karen. Remember, an IndyCar driver coming over here and doing a partial season in the Xfinity Series, but this is his first time at Daytona or Talladega. So I asked him, how do you approach this with no practice? He said, well, I reached out to somebody for help. I said, who is that? He said, Jimmy Johnson, none other than 7-time NASCAR Cup Series champion, who had some good advice for him, and most of all, to sort of learn, take his time, and understand the draft, and then strike at the end. And I think he's done that. A little damage there on the front, but we'll see if he can pull off a top 10 finish his first time at Daytona.
Good to reach out to a 7-time champion. Try to get a little bit of advice as to how to race here at Daytona.
You know, it's interesting, Rick. So we talk about the opportunity for some of these cars to have some career days. You know, their opportunity, I think, makes it a little more confusing at the front of the field, right? The 21 of Hill, the 9 of Gregson, the 16 of Allmendinger. They have a lot of confidence in one another. They know the moves that are going to be made, or at least they're trying to predict the moves. But kind of behind them, there's so many new players. I don't know if they know who you want to get the push from, who you can trust to give the push from. So, I mean, drivers, that's my question to you. Like last time, you had a pretty clear opinion. Hey, I want the 54, I want this. When you look in the mirror and see some of these cars, I'm willing to bet they can't name all the drivers in the 8 cars behind them, just because, you know, these aren't cars we consistently running in the top 10.
Yeah, you're definitely going to be looking in the mirror and not know who's going to push you, but hoping somebody does. And you don't have any experience with a lot of these guys. To know what to expect from them. When they, are they going to push you, try to take you 3 wide? They're going to go with the other guy? You'll never know till this thing starts shaking out and we run these final few laps. Unfortunately, you don't have friends behind you anymore.
Is this deja vu to the way the season started with the 21 team and Austin Hill? It looks awful similar. Austin Hill, late in the race, worked his way up front, and then Big Rex behind him gave him the opportunity to stay out front and win. Only driver to sweep Daytona races. He's sitting next to you, Burton, back in 2003.
Was that the race he wrecked Burton, or was that a different race?
Well,
that was a different one.
Oh.
Different?
No. The day you wrecked me, you wrecked too.
Okay.
Austin,
the day I wrecked him, I didn't wreck.
We're watching that replay of Austin here at Daytona, but another race that I think is even more similar to what we might see at the end here is Atlanta.
Yeah.
And he knows this is, like I was talking at the start of the race, this is going to be about a 2-lane race. There won't be 3 wide, I don't believe. But either way, he knows how to control those lanes. He knows how to move left to right and get in front of the lane that's got the energy. Watch him right here at Atlanta. Getting a great push here. He's going to take that push, put himself in front, and then he moved back and forth in front of the cars, not allowing really anybody to take advantage of him. He always had, so that lead car stays out front by getting a push from one lane to the other. You have to continue to keep getting pushed or you lose momentum and they go by.
The interesting things, we saw that replay of his win here in Daytona, and even with all this chaos, it was the 21, the 9, and the 16. And here we have the 21, the 9, and the 6. Like, we talk a lot about the unknowns here, and it's been obvious you can get caught up in an accident. But I don't buy this whole, anybody has a chance, there's nothing you can do. I think those are casual excuses for cars that maybe haven't found, the keys to unlocking this place. Now, there's a lot of ways it can go wrong for the drivers that are good here, but it is not by just chance that the same drivers seem to cycle to the front, both in Xfinity and Cup. We have the same thing on the Cup side. We start to see some of those same drivers, right, Jeff? Every Cup race, the same 2 or 3 seem to cycle to the front, and here these seem to be the guys in the Xfinity side.
Well, you mentioned that Atlanta win. Well, in the other race in Atlanta, he ran second. and he won a truck race here in 2019. So Austin Hill knows how to super speedway race. He knows what lane to pick. He's going that, you know, the thing I don't like that right front. I do not like the fact that he's got damage, but the car behind him's got some damage as well. Then the car behind Noah has, you said it earlier, Noah has no idea what to expect from Timmy Hill in that 13 car.
I will promise you that the 16 is a little faster than the 13. So I like the bottom line here as far as the help, and I think that's why the 21 picked the inside versus the outside line that he picked to restart before.
And then the 10 car, Landon Castle, he's in the outside of the third row. How much damage does his car have? Like, where is he in regard? We saw him in the wall earlier. The right side is scuffed up. That 44 car, we saw the nose. It's tore up on that car. So a lot of damage.
Well, and let's just not forget that we heard that radio about the 21 saying he had some fuel pressure issues, and the team assured him it should be fine. Well, if that was just riding around slow, when they get the green flag and he goes to wide open, the fuel delivery is going to be required. So if there's any sort of stumble, like we saw in the last restart, it could break this whole field up right here in the restart zone.
Again, you look at the names from really fifth on back or fourth on back. Timmy Hill, Jeremy Clements, Landon Castle, Sage Karam, Ryan Vargas, Matt Mills. Also that's been involved in accidents. Myatt Snyder back there in 13th. Kyle C. Yaley, Perkins, Jesse Owuji, Brandon Brown, Allgaier back on the lead lap in the 19th position.
I like Austin's odds, man. I think this kid's the best plate racer in the field.
We'll see what he's got, and will it be 2 more laps? That question to be answered as well. We are once again in overtime, presented by Credit One Bank.
Timmy Hill back into the back of the 9 car. You saw the contact. AJ's going to push the 21 clear. Here comes the 9.
Austin Hill
Austin's going to continue.
In front.
Yeah, Austin's going to continue to try to defend that.
You mentioned you didn't think it would get to be 3 wide. Pretty tight pack, trying to stay at least 2 wide. A little bit of help here coming for AJ Allmendinger, and he's going to give it right to Noah Gregson into the wall. He'll go.
Oh, man.
Big hit for Gregson.
Lock it down,
and the caution comes out again.
Get a lock.
Still wrecking.
Landon Castle in the 10. We saw him wreck. There's Riley. Noah Gregson sideways.
Man, that was a hard hit for the 9 car there.
Yeah, we talked about blocking, trying to keep a run coming from behind.
I'm surprised that thing can roll.
Ty Gibbs, a lot of damage.
And now the carnage continues, and it's attrition is the question. Who will be left to fight it out here at Daytona?
See Matt Mills in the 78 car.
Blaine Perkins once again stopped in the grass. Getting to Landon Castle now, the AMR safety crew here. There's Jeff Burton.
Going down the back straightaway, Allmendinger with a big run, Noah with a block, Allmendinger being pushed by Jeremy Clemens, and wow. All 4 tires off the ground with that impact. That's a huge hit.
Yeah, we watched it down the back straightaway. The 51's pushing the 16, and so that's all 3 cars bumper to bumper. Noah comes down to get in front of the 16. He sees the momentum he has. AJ just gets into the back of him. It's a pretty heavy push. You're going to have hard hits, hard pushes at the end of this race. And then AJ's car moves to the left, and it spins the 9 back to the right. AJ kind of goes down the track below the yellow line, and as he drives across the back bumper of that car, it spins that 9 out. There's nothing you can do as the lead car when the car pushing you is moving left or right.
See, watch right here, Noah with a big run. it's an aggressive block. We talked about, you know, having to be aggressive with the blocks, knowing when to make a block. Just with that big of a run, juniors, just see it right here. Just real aggressive.
Once again, multiple cars involved in this, the 10th caution of the night. Myatt Snyder got collected there in the 31. So Blaine Perkins involved again. There's Ty Gibbs on pit road. They're trying to do work to the right front. We'll have another attempt at overtime. 2 laps. It's a 2-lap sprint out. What a hit Noah Gregson took there from the 10 of Landon Castle. Airborne and spinning around here at Daytona. Looking at another overtime restart here from Daytona for the Xfinity Series, and it'll be Austin Hill who will be up front once again. Before the green flag comes back out, let's go to Parker.
Rick, Jeremy Clements is in 3rd position right now. As many know, he drives for a family race team. This is Dad, Tony Clements. You used to be listed as the crew chief. That's no longer the case, but you come to every race. You guys are in 3rd right now at Daytona. You think you can get it done?
Oh, yeah, it's a big day for us. He's doing an awesome job. He's been trying to stay out of trouble and get to the end of this thing, and I think now it's time to go. He's saying he's just going to push whoever's in front of him all he can push.
When you guys are in this position, what do you tell him? Do you just say, just go for it? Does nothing else matter?
Actually, we've been letting him and the spotter kind of determine what they needed to do. And obviously look at the rest of the field, how crazy it's all getting. Earlier in the race, he was backing off some just because he felt like they were going to wreck, and trying to get to the end, you know, trying to make something out of this. He's real smart about that.
You can tell, guys, he's got many rooting down here in their pit right now for Jeremy Clements to maybe pull this off.
Rick, it's so uncanny. If you closed your eyes and didn't know who you were talking to, that could have been Jeremy Clements, not his father. I mean, they sound almost identical. You know, that story of the family-run race team, they've been doing this for many years. So it's impressive they can find the partners that go on the car. They can find these opportunities. They seem to always either survive the road courses or survive the speedways, but they cycle their way to the front. I mean, that's a driver who's back in 16th in points, right? So the pointing his way into the playoffs probably isn't a plan for Jeremy Clements, but a win. Yeah. Man, a win would be a big day. Yeah, he's 160 points out, or at least that's the way he started the race. So, yes, winning your way into the playoffs would definitely work out for the 51 team and Jeremy Clements. See the 9 being towed back to the garage. Want to listen into A.J. Allmendinger's radio and see what they have to say about what's happening.
Plenty of fuel once we get going. We just got to make sure we get it in there to take off. Are you sure we have that much fuel? Yes, sir. Fuel gauge is bouncing all around.
And so what the worry is the pickup in the fuel cell, especially on the banking, going around slow like this up on the banking, especially in 1 and 2, 3 and 4. You know, you kind of sometimes see guys get down on the apron so they're flat and they get, the fuel can get to the pickup. There's plenty of pickups back there to take it all in, but if you're on that banking, sometimes the fuel might not get there, and any kind of air gap or any kind of starvation or anything like that from the pump, when you go mash the gas on this restart, you don't want that thing choking up or stumbling at all.
Yeah, it's a good reminder. The Xfinity cars, unlike the Cup cars, these aren't fuel injected. So, this system, a carburetor, so Dale mentions, the air. So as he's sitting right here in the banking, the pickup is on the right-hand corner of the fuel cell because at speed, all the fuel sloshes to the right. So here riding around slow, while you don't notice it right here, it could be like half picking up some fuel, picking up some air, and you kind of move that air up the line, and then when you need it most. So I think it wouldn't shock me if you see him swerve a few times, nice long swerves to just try to, you know, force the fuel over into that right corner, but you probably won't see that until 1 to go. Even increase the RPM a little bit, Dale, right? Coming to the green for maybe through 3 and 4, you increase the RPM a few thousand RPM just to burn some fuel through if you don't think you're short on fuel, just to make sure if there is an air pocket there, you get through it.
AJ's dropping back here. Not keeping pace, am I right?
Yep.
Yeah. He's got an issue or something. NASCAR is probably going to have an issue with that if he can't keep pace.
Yeah, you have to keep pace, and if you're behind him, pass him. Like, do not give him a chance to get going.
He just came on the radio, said we're not going to make it. So I think the 16 might be out. Yeah, they're out of fuel. A.J. Allmendinger just came on the radio, said, come on, you got to be kidding me. There you see him going the flat. Steve, what came to mind is Bruce Schlicker, his crew chief, said, we're 14 laps to the good. Way earlier in the race, they never thought they would get to this point. Look what lap it is, lap 114. Now it's fired back up when he went back to the flat, but they're clearly having fuel issues on the 16.
Yeah, but I think it's what Dale mentioned. He rode around 1 and 2 on the banking with no attempt to keep the cell full of fuel or the pickup full of fuel.
There's probably maybe enough gas in there to finish the race, but if it's not near the pickup, you're not going to have any fuel in the carburetor.
Yeah, well, the problem now is because pit road has already been open and he's coming in extra time, he won't get to pull up with the rest of the lead lap cars. He'll have to start behind lap down cars, the wrecked cars, anybody that doesn't wave him by. The field's getting 1 to go right here, so a lot of the wrecked cars will probably wave him by because they have damage anyway, but Dave.
Nervous time for leader Austin Hill. Listen to his radio.
My gauges are messing up. Not really sure what's going on. Hit your reset on your gauges. I hit them. They're all black. Nothing works. I don't have no RPM gauge or nothing now.
And then he said, I'm pretty sure my cool suit just stopped working. Andy Street, the crew chief, radioed him back. He said, I'm pretty sure your battery has died or is dying. Cut everything off you do not need.
Oh, he's losing power.
Go on the flat. Make sure you slosh it around so you can pick up all the fuel.
Dave, thanks for that information. That's what he's doing.
It just completely cut out on me. I'm on the apron now.
No!
I got it back running.
Yeah, but if he's talking about his cool suit going out,
buddy. Keep it running
his
here.
gauges going out, that's not fuel. That's an
No.
electrical problem. And so going on the banking, it just fired back
I have
up.
my gauges back right now. Now they're going away again. I don't know.
So he's got a battery issue, a wiring issue, something's going on from an electrical standpoint. He has no idea what he's got when he gets this launch right here. The car may run, it may not run.
And remember who's back here. Jeremy Clements, Timmy Hill, Sage Karam, Yaley, Vargas, Kyle Sieg, Brandon Brown, all looking to win at Daytona, and their opportunity might be tonight. Back down to the apron, Austin Hill goes.
He's afraid to go back on the banking, I think. It ran on the apron, so he went down here in 3 and 4. He just went
down now.
He just went to the apron and tried to make sure it didn't do it again. But Steve, that is not fuel. If the gauges and his cool suit and all that happened at the same time, that is not a fuel problem.
No, it's like a combination of, right? Maybe the fuel pickup isn't as good as it needs to be with an electrical issue. As it gets low on RPM, the charging goes down on the alternator, or the alternator could have quit. We'll see if it accelerates, though, as we come to the green for another dose of overtime.
Yeah, we're going to try overtime again, presented by Credit One Bank. Austin Hill on the inside. Will it go? Jeremy Clements on the outside.
It's not going. There goes Clements. He's going to be clear.
Clements clears. The 44 follows him. Sage Karam pushing Jeremy Clements out to a big lead.
Look behind them, the 16 of AJ and Brandon Brown. They're teamed up as well. They're going to have a huge run off of turn 2.
They got to get separated by the time they get to 2. That's going to slow them down. Look how far Jeremy Clements has gotten out in front of everybody.
Big run for Brandon Brown with the assistance of Allmendinger.
Here comes Brandon Brown closing in on Clements. Clements trying to block, trying to slow this down. Here comes AJ to the bottom. Can Clements get there?
Brandon Brown made that move way too soon.
Inside.
That allowed Allmendinger just to turn left on him.
Coming up on one more time around, and around goes the 98. Will they get the white flag? The white flag in the air.
Back to the top.
Jeremy Clements in front, and the caution comes out. That will end the race. Jeremy Clements is going to win at Daytona.
Look at his dad.
You're the leader here.
It's been 164 starts.
Look at this.
Can you guys believe this? Oh my God. Oh my God, it was your day, son. Awesome.
Persistence pays off for the Clements family. Just his second career win. The last one came 164 starts ago at Road America. And he'll come by and get the checkered flag. For the second time in his career, Jeremy Clements wins in the Xfinity Series.
What an incredible story.
So racing family, they have been racing for a long time. His father builds engines. They build dirt engines. Some of the best dirt racers in the country have his engines in their cars.
We won?
We won?
He can't believe it. Second place for Timmy Hill, starting 37th on the field.
And guess what, guys? Jeremy Clements has a great shot now with the winner in the playoffs.
Now 8 drivers have won in the Xfinity Series, helping fill that 12-car field that puts Ryan Sieg outside of the top 12. A wild race tonight.
There's a couple teams, organizations in the series like this, and I think they got to all be thrilled for Jeremy Clements. The Sieg team, Brandon Brown's team, they all race each other all year long. They're sort of that second tier, that B-level program, and they all fight for the credibility and respect in the series. They like to see each other compete and win.
To the start-finish line for the 51. He'll nose into that outside wall and do his burnout. "18 degrees of banking in the tri-oval, and during his burnout, he can't even keep it up against the wall. It's so much banking." We've mentioned how coveted the real estate is in Victory Lane, and you see the emotion and the excitement on the team members here. They are going to be celebrating in the Ruoff Mortgage Victory Lane here at Daytona. And let's head down to the celebration, and Dave.
Oh, and what a celebration it is going to be. The pride of South Carolina, Jeremy Clements, hops out of that race car now. What, me? Yes, you at Daytona. Look around you. There's Dad. His wife jumps in. And you, I know, can you believe it? You've won at Daytona.
I'm speechless, man. I don't even know what to say. It was, that's incredible, man. I mean, We were as fast as Xfinity Internet at the end, and it feels so good. I got allsouthtelectric.com, one-stop convenience stores. These guys have been with me forever, so I just want to thank them. Whitetail Smokeless, Fox Sports Spartanburg, man, oh man, IFG, Workforce. I just can't, I'm sorry, I'm a little speechless. So we survived that big wreck back there somehow. It was like a Days of Thunder wreck. And then I was like, well, if we can just keep up with these guys, it'll be a good day. Top 5 and bring this car home in one piece, and that's a good day. But wow, this is incredible. Thank you guys so much for sticking around. I know it's late as hell. It's time to drink a beer.
Now, you waited there at the end, right? There were times when you could have gone earlier, but I know you waited. You played the waiting game, it seems like, to perfection.
Well, I just honestly didn't have the car to get up there, and I had a car to just stay with the pack. I couldn't really get in there, and I'd had to have somebody pushing me. So just trying to be aggressively cautious, and it worked for once. So I've done a lot of these speedway races, and a lot of them haven't worked out. So I guess we finally got one. It's incredible to win it, Dave freaking Tona, man. Holy crap, Dave. Wow.
And Tony, you have worked a lot of years to get here yourself, and you are in victory lane with your son in this team.
Unbelievable, yeah. We just try real hard and push real hard, and I only do it because of him, and it's just amazing that he's able to pull that off. I mean, he just stays focused and, you know, does what he does and drives so smart and makes it happen. If he didn't do that, we couldn't race because we couldn't buy all this equipment constantly like some of them tear them up. But he does unbelievable, and we're so proud.
Oh, the death trap, that's where that sandbox.
Yeah, there really is a big one, too. That turn.
Better, wow, we're in the playoffs. Dang, I didn't even really think about that. I mean, this has been kind of a rough year for us. We haven't had but a few top 10s and one top 5 maybe. And so, yeah, I mean, we just need to keep this train rolling, and we have nothing to lose. So we need to get some power in that hood. We're gonna freaking get to the front on these playoffs and try to stay up there and advance. But thanks again to Clements Racing Engines, JCR. This is a small team, guys. This means a lot to all these guys. It's just so cool that this is just super special. Thank you, Mark Setzer. Good job, buddy. Tony Clements, the whole crew. Again, Chuck Coon, Scott Ward, these guys. Without backing us, we couldn't be here, so thank you.
Small team, go have a big party. Jeremy Clements and Clements Racing in victory lane at Daytona.
Jeremy Clements is going to be heading to the Ruoff victory lane. You know, we talk about this being a family team. Well, Jeremy's grandfather, Crawford Clements, won the July Cup race here in 1964 as A.J. Foyt's crew chief. So it's all staying in the family. Family-run business. Dad here celebrate with son. And Jeremy Clements wins on the biggest stage here at Daytona. And he now is in the playoffs in the Xfinity Series. Later tonight, that's Saturday night. Countdown to Green at 7 o'clock on NBC and Peacock, 7:30. Cup Series Racing. NBC and streaming live on Peacock. And then it'll all be wrapped up. The weekend wrapped up on NASCAR America post-race show on Peacock and NBCSports.com. All right, how did Jeremy Clements do it? Take a look.
Jeremy Clements way out in front. Brandon Brown with a big push. Brandon makes a move really early right here. AJ says, nope, too early. He drives underneath, and then he gets all the way underneath Jeremy Clements, and now AJ just didn't get clear of him.
Yeah, I was surprised Jeremy didn't block AJ there before he got to the inside. Timmy Hill is the guy that pushes that 51 back clear into the lead. So Jeremy will see that replay later, and he will make sure to thank Timmy for that. That was a big key to getting him back to victory lane here.
One small team helping another.
That's right.
Take a look at the playoff standings in the Xfinity Series. We just mentioned with this win by Jeremy Clements, that puts him in the winning column. He is yellow now and one of the 8 drivers who have won.
Yeah, and adding a name to that yellow column, look how much it has squeezed that cut line, right? When now Daniel Hemrick and Castle kind of barely above 2 cars from Colleague. Ryan Sieg just below. Sheldon Creed was kind of gaining points, and it just went away with an accident today.
Yeah, I think you're right. Landon Castle now with a ton of pressure on him with only 3 races left. Who would have thought that? Hemrick, defending champion, only 33 points to the good. And we've seen Sheldon Creed. He's been on a roll lately, but 55 points is a lot to gain in 3 races.
What kind of program can Ryan Sieg and his group put together for the next few races to try to point their way into this? I mean, we've seen them be fast, surprisingly fast, top 5 fast at some racetracks this year and even in the past. Maybe do they have enough steam under the hood for a few races to go out there and make it happen?
And I think expectation puts all the pressure in front of them on Landon, right? Ryan Sieg's team, I think the playoffs would be the best day ever. I think for Landon Castle, missing the playoffs would be a huge disappointment.
A lot of carnage that took place here at Daytona. And, of course, more action later today. The Cup Series will be here on the high banks of Daytona International Speedway. More NASCAR coverage always available on NBCSports.com. Coming up next on USA, first look at the NASCAR docuseries Race for the Championship, followed by the movie Doctor Strange. We were wondering if someone could win their way into the playoffs for the Xfinity Series, and tonight attrition came into play, but ultimately Jeremy Clements and that family-owned number 51 found victory lane here in the hallowed grounds of Daytona International Speedway.